Into the red?
So this one is blocked.
Yeah.
So that goes to Kelsey because it's blocked.
What up, friend?
This goes in here. Now you should be able
All
to.
right.
Hello.
Welcome to Broomstones Curling Club.
Maybe. We've said welcome to Broomstones Curling Club a few times this morning.
I think we're live now. We've had quite a few audio issues. We are confirming that we're now live, but we are through 4 or 5 ends on most sheets
Oh
from
my
the morning
gosh,
rounds.
Angela's messaged me back from the ice.
We're going to have to talk to Angela about that. For anyone listening in, assuming our audio is now working, sheet 1 is RIT2.
Oh my god, it's on the YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, we
Okay,
are
great.
live on audio. Sheet 1 is RIT2
Oh my god, it's
in
confirmed.
Oklahoma.
Sorry, we've been trying to fix our audio for like 18 hours and it's fine. Will,
Yes,
thank you for volunteering.
anytime. Glad to volunteer to do a little commentating on curling this morning.
What's the score on sheet 1?
Sheet 1 is 5-5 after 5 ends. That is RIT2 versus Oklahoma on sheet 1. They have just started the 6th end.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, sheet 2 is Penn Yale versus Colgate 2, and that is currently 5-1. Penn Yale is in the lead, and they are in the 6th. They are in the 5th end.
Yep, they're in the 5th.
Yeah, they just ended the 5th, actually, so they're about to start the 6th, but they have not posted the score yet.
The 5th end was a blank.
The 5th end was a blank?
Yep.
Oh, okay, the 5th end was a blank, actually, so that is still going to be 5-1 after 5 ends. Sheet 3 is Bowdoin 2 versus Syracuse, and that is currently 6-2 after 5 ends. Syracuse is in the lead. And sheet 4 is Harvard 1 versus RIT 1, and that is currently an 8-2 lead. Harvard is in the lead, and that is through 5. They are in the 6th end as well. On sheet 4 right now, Harvard is about to throw their first skip stone. Currently, there are 2 RIT stones in the 8-foot, and Harvard has the hammer. All right, here comes the skip shot. It looks like they're going to try to take out one or both stones in the 8-foot. And here comes the shot into the house. And they were able to take out just one of the 2 stones, but they are now sitting on the 8-foot as well.
I think currently we are streaming sheet 1.
Yes, currently streaming RIT2 versus Oklahoma. We have just started the 6th end.
That would be great. I'd love to check out sheet 4. So sheet 4.
Sweater game, but if you're gonna wear an aggressive sweater, I always suggest stepping up the pants game as well. You know, kind of a
No,
bland
you
pants
don't want
choice.
to be too
They don't
busy.
need to be loud. You don't need to be busy, but
Angelo's not a part of RIT. He
gray
is not that
pants,
loud.
gray pants and white shoes with such a lovely sweater feels like a crime.
They say.
It's a lovely sweater. It has bears and Christmas trees.
See if I can get away from Angelo.
We
I
are
got away
debating
from Angelo
the
in the booth.
origins
And
of this
Jack.
sweatshirt, but I believe it might be USA Palm. Either way, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous sweater.
It really is.
Yeah, it's definitely the best individual outfit on the ice today, but he is in running with a lovely member of the Syracuse team who is wearing large sunglasses and a bucket hat for a 7:30 a.m. curling on a Sunday.
One can
Take
only
from that
assume.
what you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are definitely two of the best individuals. The three best dressed teams we've decided are the Bowdoin 2, Colgate 2, and Harvard 1 teams. There is some debate around which team is the best individual. We have some bias from the Harvard coach here, but we're leaning towards Colgate 2 or Bowdoin. Score update for anyone listening in. Sheet 1 is currently still 5-5 through 5 ends. That is RIT2 and Oklahoma. Sheet 2 is currently 5-1, and that is Penn Yale leading Colgate 2. Sheet 3 is currently 6-2, and that is Bowdoin 2 Syracuse. Syracuse is in the lead. And Sheet 4 is currently 9-2, and that is Harvard 1 over RIT 1. We are currently streaming Sheet 4, Harvard 1 and RIT 1.
I'm asking Angelo, who has messaged me already from the ice, who are you wearing, to see if we can confirm your thoughts.
This is real-time information here.
He did say that this sweater, he considers it his best purchase. And I don't disagree. I really don't.
I have no input there. I don't know Angelo at all, but we're going to say it's his best purchase because that's a lovely sweater.
It really is.
All right, so it looks like the RIT 1 stone, that might be a biter. It's hard to see from this angle.
I
It's on
believe
the
it
other
is,
end.
yeah.
But either way, Harvard 1 is scoring as they have a stone in the 12.
Angelo,
So the name
off
of the
and
game
away.
is takeouts here for Harvard. Obviously, they have a large lead. They just need to minimize any damage that RIT can do.
And I think Harvard's going for the draw behind their own guard. Wait's looking all right, if not a little heavy, but actually Wait's looking pretty good.
Trying to sweep it in behind there. That did slow down.
The man's got great style,
Considerably.
and he's got draw weight, and that's more than I have.
I only have draw weight. I don't have draw weight. That was a solid shot.
Oh, we are also joined by Evan Mullaney, a skip of RPI1, about to take on Bowdoin 1 in the A event final coming up at 10 o'clock here at Broomstones.
All right. Evan, I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of people afraid to take out their own guards this morning. So I'm going to be super watching you on that later and hoping that you're not afraid of that takeout.
Oh, I don't think
I'm not afraid of anything
I don't think Evan's afraid of.
except my own future.
That is a very college student statement.
Can you tell he goes to an engineering school?
Yeah,
I
he will be very fine. Now, Evan, how long have you been curling?
I have been curling for 18 years. I have been curling longer than most high school seniors have been alive.
That is impressive.
Were you curling before 9/11?
Yeah.
Hello?
That was my first season.
Is it a family thing?
Yes.
Your parents curl? Yeah. Where are you originally from?
I am actually originally from Broomstones.
Born and raised on this ice.
Oh, nice. I am a new Broomstones member, so I expect to see you around the club now.
Yes.
Of course, most of the students here, first-time curlers. Many of these, first-time Bonspiel participants. It's always nice to see some fresh faces.
Especially nice seeing a brand new college club, Penn State, on the circuit this year.
Yep.
They're doing very well on sheet 2. They're currently up 5-1.
Ah, that is UPenn.
Oh, that is UPenn. Oh,
Yep. Classic.
wow.
Classic.
Well, they're high. So for context, it's Penn Yale combination team.
Yes.
So it is abbreviated. So it's good to see Penn State here as well. So UPenn and Yale on sheet 2 for our clarification. Sheet 4, we are currently seeing Harvard 1 sitting 3. It looks like RIT 1 needs to get a little aggressive in this end. Obviously, we'll see what Harvard does with their shot here.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the final end on sheet 4.
It looks likely. The timer does look to be at 4 minutes, if I'm reading that correctly. So we'll likely have one more end on all of the sheets. I don't see any ends that are likely to end and get 2 ends in. Harvard just threw a great guard just over the line, trying to protect the house as, again, they have a substantial lead here and little time left on the clock.
Yep, and currently the Harvard team we are watching is made up of lead Yedong, Skip Angelo, but we all know this man's middle name is Style. We have Vice Jack Cordes and lead Kat Liu, having a wonderful showing.
You kind of got the order mixed up there a little bit.
Did I?
Yeah.
You totally called the skip the lead,
And you called the second a skip.
and you called the second the skip. But Angela
You know-
Angela's skip of the
Does it show
all-fashion
that I've
team.
gotten like 4 hours of sleep these last 2 nights from hosting this Bonspiel?
I will
You
say
know
I
what? You are
think that
second
was
to none, and you need to.
I think that was a
Can't skip
fashion
the
game
coffee this
commentary.
morning.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to caffeine.
That is unfortunate.
It really is.
She reorganized and she did the fashion of Harvard 1 and not the actual order because Angela is definitely the skip of the fashion team
Sure.
and is certainly the best dressed. And their actual skip is the lead of the fashion team as she is wearing a undoubtedly warm and comfortable but simplistic outfit.
Are you the fashion police?
We're not the fashion police. We
Look,
have
if
actually
Joan Rivers is gone, someone has
assigned
to
some of
replace.
this. Yeah, we had so many audio issues that we had to kind of come into this very late in the game. So we
Yeah, we've
decided to
been-
provide some colorful context to the individuals on the ice as
Yeah.
the scores are substantial. Although we might switch back to sheet 1 here for the end, as it's a very tight game on sheet 1. They are about to throw the hammer stone for, I believe Oklahoma has the hammer here. Let's see who's coming around with the stone.
And currently, what we are watching on both sheet 1 and sheet 4 on sheet 1 RIT 2 in Oklahoma and on sheet 4 Harvard 1 and RIT 1, these are the semifinals for the B event. So whoever prevails here will get the joy of getting to curl again very soon.
Here is the shot. It's coming in for Oklahoma. Oh, and it's narrowly misses. It's actually through the house. That is
Flash.
a difficult last shot to see. That's going to give 2
Donna.
to RIT2 and a steal there going into the last end. Actually, they're going to be able to get in 2 ends because there is 2 minutes on the clock, and they have just finished the 6th end. They will be able to get in a full 8. That is actually very good for those teams, as it's a very, very tight match on sheet 1. We're actually going to switch over to that stream here shortly, as the other games are likely moving into their last ends with large leads.
I do have more comments from Angelo. I asked, "Who are you wearing?" And he asked, "Who?"
And here's Angelo does not know what he is wearing as
It
well.
appears that Angelo does not watch enough red carpet coverage, or did he know that he would soon become part of it? And he then asked, "Will we have time to eat before the next round?" So really focused on what's important. I'm gonna send him a depends how fast you eat.
Yeah, and sheet 2 right now is on the last skip stones. This is the first, this is the last stone for Colgate 2, and Penn Yale has the hammer. Currently, Penn Yale is sitting 1, narrowly by about 2 inches. The timer did just go off and hit 0 as well. Oh, it's a 10-minute warning. Oh, okay.
It's the 10-minute warning.
Interesting that the clock goes to 0, but they have it at the 10-minute warning.
It's because the clock only sets for 100 minutes.
I'm not used to that, yeah.
Yep.
I'm used to the 10-minute warning with 10 minutes, but you still get the beat. Okay, so we still have 10 minutes left, actually, so there actually is going to be potentially two more ends for the Penn Yale game as well. We'll see how it scores here. That is a takeout again that has missed the line. Common theme this morning. That is Colgate 2 missing the takeout. Penn Yale sitting 1, and they have the final stone at the end coming up here. They can potentially get 2 to take a large lead. On sheet 3, Bowdoin 2 in Syracuse. Syracuse has furthered their lead. They are up 7-2 now. They are through 6 ends. They have, let me check the stones remaining. They have 3 stones left for each team. It appears that I believe Bowdoin 2 has the hammer. We will see here in a second. Yes. Syracuse just threw a stone. They look to be trying to just curl it in here, but they're sweeping it back. On sheet 4, Harvard 1 has drawn it just to the edge of the house. That might be him, but it looks like a guard. And let's check the stones remaining here. All right, on sheet 4, we are on the hammer stone here for RIT1. They are trailing 9-2. Sheet 2, the score is currently 5-1 Penn Yale. This is final skipstone as well, trying to get 2 as they are currently sitting 1, but it's a little heavy and it looks like it might be out the back of the house.
Skip Richard Whitaker, unable to have draw weight completely down, but I know he's trying his best.
Yeah, I mean, Penn Yale was sitting 1 there, and there was a lot of room. Definitely should have had 2, but I'm sure they're happy taking 1 there and extending their lead. It's now 6-1 through 6 ends.
A little wobble from Richard Whitaker there, probably also fairly tired from a long weekend of curling. And he's been a wonderful house guest of mine the last couple of days.
Yes, score update on sheet 4. We have handshakes as Harvard 1 has taken down RIT 1 to advance to the finals of the B event. Yes, they will face the winners of the sheet 1 match, which is actually a very tight match here on the 7th end. It is currently 7-5 RIT 2 over Oklahoma. It's been a very interesting match.
Harvard 1, unfortunately, the only home team here at Broomstones to make it to Sunday, and glad to see them in a final. Mostly because they'll be here for cleanup crew.
Yeah, they will be here for cleanup crew. They did make the final, waiting on their opponent potentially, which could be a nail-biter down to the finish. This is the closest match from this morning's games. We have started the skipstones on sheet 3, that is Bowdoin 2 in Syracuse. Currently the score is 7-2 Syracuse. And Bowdoin has the hammer here. The house, we are sitting with several biters for each team, and then we have a stone half on the button for Bowdoin 2, and a Syracuse stone on the 4-foot, as well as a Bowdoin stone in the 12. Sheet 1. We have Oklahoma throwing right now. They are early in the end. There are currently 3 guards and nothing in the house. Oklahoma has just thrown, and it looks like they're going to actually bump their own guard. So they have a center line guard, and they pushed a guard out to the outer edge of, outer third, we'll say, of the house.
And I believe our featured sheet is currently sheet 1. Is that correct?
I believe so. I'm going to verify that, though, but
Yeah.
it should be sheet 1.
All right, sheet 1, we have Oklahoma, who flew out to this tournament for, I believe, the 3rd year in a row, skipped by Jeff Milne, who I believe is currently a representative for the student committee for the overall USA College Curling League tour. I feel like it changes every year. So, Evan, what do you think? Do you have any strategy going into the A event final?
Not really, no. We're just going to go out there, play our game, and If it's enough, we'll win. If it's not, we won't. It's as simple as you can make it.
Not too long of a drive back to beautiful Schenectady, New York, so
Troy, New York.
I was gonna say
It's
you're
all
from
the same.
Schenectady. Okay. Do you know any of the Staperas who curl
I
out there?
do. I have played against Andrew Stapera for many a moon.
Andrew's a very good curler. I actually am. I've curled with him. I'm dating his cousin Julia, so I know Andrew. He has been working on my sweeping technique with me.
how's it going?
Well, I've been asking him questions. He's admittedly a much better curler than me, so I've mainly just been poking questions. For those of you who don't know, Andrew has been on the U.S. U20 team, going to the U20 World Championships for 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
He's also the 3-time defending champion.
Yes, he just aged out this year, so he's now part of USA Curling. But Andrew's a very good curler out of Schenectady, New York, and his father is Billy Stapera. For anyone who's followed curling for a while, he's also a very experienced curler.
Fun fact about Andrew, he is now playing with Todd Burr.
Yes.
Oh.
So confirmed, we are featuring Sheet 1. This is RIT2 in Oklahoma. We just updated the score. RIT2 stole 2 in the last end after a missed shot, and Oklahoma is currently sitting 1 in the house with 4 guards.
So really, anybody's game. RIT looking to draw in now behind cover.
As that shot's coming down the ice, I would like to call out Sheet 3 right now, Bowdoin 2 in Syracuse. We just had a beautiful shot, and we have a very tight cluster in here in the forefoot and around the button.
I believe that was Skip Izzy of Bowdoin 2's shot. But now Skip of Syracuse, Luke Sanders, goes down to...
These are the final skip stones. Syracuse throwing first. Bowdoin has the hammer, so Syracuse has a little bit of a clustering in the middle. They might want to try to take some stones out as they have a big lead, but they can also just try to guard this up and protect it.
And depending on how this goes, we may see a shake on Sheet 3 soon, with Syracuse leading Bowdoin 7-2.
And back to Sheet 1, it looks like we might see a draw here. This is a very tight window coming in right now for Oklahoma. The stone's a little heavy potentially, but it might nudge out the RIT2 guard.
It's going to sail past that guard, and RIT2 sweeps it out of play.
That was actually a very dangerous shot there. Oklahoma almost just took out their own stone. That might have been worth sweeping as a precautionary burn, but they let it go and it narrowly misses. That was actually very tight to potential takeout. On Sheet 3, Syracuse elected to put up a guard stone, which is a beautiful centerline guard. Bowdoin 2 is currently, I believe, assessing whether or not they are sitting 1 or Syracuse is sitting 1. This is, again, a very tight matchup on the button. There's 2 stones very close. Syracuse has a large lead through 6 ends.
And even at that point, Syracuse wouldn't be too upset giving up 1 here to Bowdoin and then potentially going into the 8th end with hammer.
I don't know if we checked the clock, but we did hit the 10-minute warning. I don't know if we are through the 10 minutes
There are
yet.
2 minutes left of the 10 minutes, and I will be needing to go and do ice prep, I believe.
I'm in a hurry. I just put out the camera.
Getting word that Alex Hull should be on his way, and we're trying to lure him with candy corn.
Candy corn, by the way, very controversial candy. As a side note, I am personally a large fan of candy corn. I don't get the
also
I don't
am a
get the
fan
candy
of
corn hate.
There's a lot of candy corn hate, and it's just like
It's very much an artificial fake flavor, but it's a good fake flavor. I'm not against
it's
it.
fake flavor and sugar.
Exactly.
That's candy.
For the record, I do not participate in candy corn.
But what is it about it that you dislike?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
The texture. I just don't like the
Oh,
texture
it's a
or the
texture.
flavor.
Do you find it grainy, or what's the texture that you don't like? I do find it grainy,
I
so I was
find it
curious.
equally chewy and grainy and hard. It's just
Okay,
a
that's
whole
fair, that's fair.
I
conglomerate
think you're
of...
getting bad candy corn, but I
Yeah.
think you're getting the old stale stuff. You need the fresh, crisp autumn corn.
I've admittedly never had homemade candy corn, so I kind of wonder what like an artisanal candy corn would taste like.
Maybe that's the niche market I should enter to make my millions.
Just to update on Sheet 1, actually, RIT2 was able to sit on the Oklahoma stone, and they actually have a very beautiful location now. So we are decent way into this end. We're closing in on the last stones, and that is going to be a hard stone to get rid of. Oklahoma might have to try to sit on that stone as well.
At this point, I will have to sign off for this draw. I expect to be back for the 10 o'clock draw in the much anticipated A final between homeboy Evan Mullaney of RPI 1 versus Bowden 1.
Yeah,
but
good luck to Evan.
Thanks, guys.
Local
Hopefully we can put on
Broomstones
a good game for you guys.
good luck, Will.
Just thank you, everyone. Thank you for sticking through the audio issues this morning. Sheet 3, Bowden 2 and Syracuse. Bowden 2's shot was a little bit short, and we have the... we actually have a lot of people in the house right now, but the Vices are trying to sort out who is scoring. We will come back to you with an update there when we have it. Sheet 1, RIT 2, Oklahoma, definitely the tightest match of this morning. RIT 2 is up 2 through 6 ends, and we have a very heavily guarded house right now. This is going to be a problem for Oklahoma because RIT 2 has sat on their stone at the edge of the 4-foot, and it'll be hard to get through there. Let's check the amount of stones remaining. All right, we have 2 stones left for Oklahoma and 1 stone left for RIT2. Oklahoma with the hammer, which is the last stone. Let's see what they elect to do. They can take out some of these guards if they want, obviously with 2 stones left, and see what it frees up for their final stone as they are down 2. They will have likely, they will be able to get in the 8th end as the time has not gone off yet. It looks like right now they might potentially... Actually, I'm not really 100% sure what they're going for right here. They have the broom up. This might be a takeout of some of these guards potentially, but it is pretty narrow, so it's definitely not a draw of any kind. We'll see what comes through here. While they take the shot and line it up, we will update that sheet 3 has the measurement out. They're going to have to measure these stones, which are admittedly very, very close. As I said, they look to be both partially on the button, and to see where it lies. Sheet 1, Oklahoma has thrown their shot. They look to be appearing to maybe potentially get rid of some of these centerline guards. Actually, they've elected to draw through, and that is a very good weight. Let's see where it ends. It's getting behind the guards. It stopped at the edge of the 8-foot on the 12. It's a little short of where they want it, but I believe they can throw that same stone with a hammer if that's not guarded and potentially tick to try to get towards the button for 1. But they're very happy with that stone, it appears, as they're bumping fists. Sheet 2, which is Penn Yale Colgate 2. Currently, that's a large lead for Penn Yale. They are through 6 ends, and they are, a little over halfway through the 7th end right now. It looks like Penn Yale might be scoring 1. Hard to see there on the other end of the ice, but it's 2 in the house for Colgate 2 in the 8-foot, 1 in the house for Penn Yale in the 8-foot. And then it looks like a biter for Penn Yale as well. Colgate 2 just threw a stone. Looks to be beautiful right on the 4-foot, right near the button. That was a good shot. No guards, though, so that could be a potentially easy takeout here for Penn Yale. We'll see what they elect. We just finished the scoring on Bowden 2 Syracuse. Let's see what they put up for a score here. It looks like we actually are going to have handshakes on that match as the stones are coming down, so that looks like a win for Syracuse over Bowden 2 on sheet 3. So that leaves us with RIT 2 Oklahoma on sheet 1 right now. As the tight matchup, it's a 2-shot lead for RIT 2. RIT is throwing their last skip stone right now. They look like they might potentially be trying to throw a guard here, but we'll see where the stone ends up as they threw down the middle with very little handle, so it's going to slide considerably to the left, and it's going to end up out near their other guard. I'm not sure necessarily what they were looking for there, but the center line shot that Oklahoma just threw, a very beautiful shot. They were actually able to draw through a very narrow center line. That is still open, and they can actually do maybe slightly more weight and tick off their own stone. I think that's likely what they're going for, but the Skip and the Vice are discussing their options now. On sheet 2, it's Penn State, or not Penn State, excuse me, UPenn and Yale versus Colgate 2. And let's see how many stones we have remaining here. All right, so we have Colgate 2 with 2 stones left. They have the hammer and Penn Yale with 1 stone left. So with a large lead here, Colgate 2 is going to have to look to get a little aggressive, potentially get a couple points here, which is a little difficult. There's not a lot of guards here, so Penn Yale can throw takeout shots and just try to minimize any potential points they give up. All right, and Colgate has just thrown their first skip stone, and it was very heavy. It's actually gone all the way to the back, and they had a biter at the back of the house that they took out. So it is very close on who's scoring on this sheet, but there is only 1 Colgate 2 stone in the house, which I think Penn Yale will probably elect to try and take out. And Penn Yale also has 2 other stones in the house as well. Back to sheet 1, where we have the final skip stone here for Oklahoma, and they are attempting to come straight down the middle. This is a very hot, very heavy stone. This is going to be an attempt at a takeout on the red stone. It is actually going to hit the guard. That is not what they wanted. That is actually going to leave 1 here for RIT2, and they're actually shaking hands, it looks like. They are not going to play the 8th end. That's a little surprising. It was only a 3-stone deficit, but they have elected to shake hands. So it was a very tight matchup. Some wild swings in that one. So it is RIT2 advancing. They will face Harvard 1 in the B finals. That will actually happen a little after 10 this morning. That will be RIT2 facing Harvard 1. Harvard 1 actually beat RIT1, so it'll potentially be a little bit of a revenge match for RIT there. That leaves our only remaining match being Penn Yale versus Colgate 2, and I'm going to try to switch the streams over here for everyone so we can see that as it's coming to an end here, but just for some context, Penn Yale actually just took out their own stone and they left the Colgate 2 stone, so Colgate's actually scoring 1, and if they throw a good weight here, they can score 2 and cut this deficit down to 6-3. Let's get the final shot in here from the skip on Colgate 2. Final stone from Colgate. They're just trying to get it in the 8-foot or closer. The 8-foot is the white circle on sheet 2, as they are trying to get 2 points here to close the deficit with Penn Yale. The stone looks like it might be a little heavy. Let's see what happens here. And that stone is out the back of the house, so it'll be Colgate 2 taking 1 point, but they're going to shake hands. That's the end of the match as well on sheet 2. That is Penn Yale taking the win here. As we close out the morning matches. Again, we'll have the finals for all the groupings here coming up in the 10 o'clock games, which will be happening a little after 10 as we're going to get some ice work done here at Broomstones Curling Club. So feel free to stick around and watch the finals, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Apologies again for the audio issues this morning. We will see you all shortly for the finals of the college Bonspiel here at Broomstones Curling Club in Massachusetts.
Bill.
I'm Will. I don't know if I'll be here for the 10. I was not signed up to me, but I figured I'd hang around and see who was here.
But surely there is somebody that's got to commentate for the.
Yes, there was. That's why I'm hanging around. I know there was one person. I didn't check the sheet if there's two. We might still be. I don't think we're muted, but yeah, we had.
All set up Sunday.
Yeah, we didn't get the audio going in the morning until like the 6th.
Do I know who's on every sheet? Can you read that? Is that set up?
They haven't put it up yet. I think they're about to. Let's see.
Do you think the A finals is on sheet 3, sheet 2?
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be on 3, but I have no idea. I think they're about to put them up. Let's see. Yeah, let's check who's on the. Yeah, I think they're set for commentating, but we'll see if everyone's here.
Oh, yeah?
I think there's 2 people for commentating for the 10 o'clock, but we'll see if I read
Names
that
in front
right.
of you?
It doesn't have names, it just says 2. I mean, I can't, but I'll hang around to see, because I don't mind seeing who's up.
players?
I don't. I know no one.
We would not be good announcers.
I'm just calling the games. We'll see. I don't know. I think I totally am blanking on the name right now, so I'm forgetful. But there was a girl who commentated with me this morning who's the coach of the Harvard team who knew everyone. So yeah, I think it's definitely the same one. Because yeah, she went to MIT and she coaches Harvard. So I can provide commenting on the curling, and I have no names. I didn't get a sheet. I was expecting a sheet, all the names.
I like that everyone just throws short. His thrift store dress.
We doing apple juice shots? What are we ripping here? I was gonna say I don't think the
heard the word apple.
I don't think the college spiel can do the Trambuie shots. Did they ID everyone before they went through? Yeah. Whoa! I will say the Trambuie I've had at Bonspiel has always been particularly good. It's always good. All right, we are getting the teams up now. It looks like.
You're probably live then.
That's what I was about to ask. I think we're live. I'm betting we're live. Yeah. So we have the finals this morning for everyone, and this is the ceremonial shot before the finals in a traditional Bonspiel. This is usually Trambuie. Since this is the college Bonspiel, I believe it's apple juice, but traditional to walk out to bagpipes for all the teams. They do a shot and shake hands before the start of the final matches. It looks like the final will actually be on sheet 2. As I recognize that's Evan, who stopped in this morning on our morning broadcast. Curls at Broomstones for quite a while and is a local guy. And we are working on getting these scoreboards updated so we can bring you all 4 sheets here shortly and who's going to be curling where, but the final will be on sheet 2. And that final looks to be it's Bowdoin and RPI. And that is Evan Mullaney sliding out right now. He's the skip on RPI. On sheet 1, we're going to end up having RIT2, and that's going to be Harvard 1 as well. Those were on the morning ice. They have actually already played a full game of curling this morning for both of those teams, so we'll see if that has any factor. And we'll get sheets 3 and 4 here shortly. Again, we're just getting the names updated on the scorecards, and we can bring you everyone in the finals this morning at Broomstones Curling Club.
Mine will be the same.
C event is Villanova 2, Yale. D event is Hamilton 1 versus Cornell.
Okay. So we are getting this updated. We actually have started on sheet 1. They are anxious to get all 8 ends in, it looks like, as Harvard 1 is red, and they have thrown the first stone a center line guard. All the other 3 sheets are stretching, but it does look like our final is about to get underway. It'll be Bowdoin 2 on the red stones and RPI 1 on the yellow. And it does look like RPI has won the toss and has the hammer. And this is the first stone for Bowdoin coming in now. That's actually going to be well short. That was a very light first stone. It was probably 8 feet short of the hog, so that's going to be a very short stone that's been burned. And RPI is going to start now. Again, this is Evan as the skip. He was in this morning, if you've been listening all morning to us. And it looks like he's going to be calling for a shot down the center and curling over to the outside. All right, sheet 4. We have the names up, and they've just thrown their first stone. That is going to be Yale and Villanova 2 on sheet 4. All right, and the first stone from RPI 1, who does have the hammer, is into the 8-foot. And Bowden 1 is now up. Looks like they are calling for a stone down the middle. They might want to just nudge this, but this is going to need to curl if they want to hit that RPI 1 stone, and it is coming pretty fast. We'll see where the stone ends up. And here we go. It's coming toward the house. They're sweeping it in here all the way. It does look like it's actually going to hit the stone. This actually caught a lot of curl. Looks like we're a little slow to start this end, as that stone ended up slowing down considerably as it was getting closer to the house. All right, and sheet 3 update. This is Cornell versus Hamilton 1 on sheet 3. We have the names up, and they are live as well. They are through the first 2 stones. So for everyone listening, it is Harvard 1, RPI 2 on sheet 1. And Bowden 1 and RPI 1 on sheet 2, and that is the A event finals. And right now, RPI is throwing a takeout on that last Bowden stone, and a beautiful shot hits the stone perfectly, taking out the Bowden stone and leaving 2 in the house for RPI. They're now through the lead stones and going into the seconds. On sheet 3, it's Cornell and Hamilton 1. They are still in the first sets of stones, and on sheet 4 is Yale and Villanova 2. All games are in the first end of the finals this morning, and thank you for joining us. This is the Broomstones Curling Club Collegiate Bonspiel. All right, Bowden looks to be trying a takeout here, potentially. It's coming back right at the stone that RPI 1 just threw. And that stone has been taken out. They did not get a roll or a double in any way, so they are sitting in the 12-foot with their stone, with RPI 1 sitting in the 8-foot. It looks like RPI is just willing to keep playing the takeout game here. They do have the hammer, and they are sitting 1, so as long as they can keep hitting takeouts and keep the stones in the house, they'll be in a nice place. I would like to comment that the clothing and pants choices from the RPI team here are phenomenal this morning. We have flamingo pants, we have some checkered pants and diamond pants. This is a great dressed outfit.
I see you. Oh, am I in?
Sheet 3 is not completely working.
I mean, we should be showing sheet 2 the whole time, right?
Yep. I believe we're on sheet 2, yes.
I can't. Oh, I am in.
You're in, you're
oh,
in.
Yay! Hello. I'm glad to see the fashion commentary has continued. What did I miss in terms of the fashion?
We actually just got into the fashion commentary, and this is in the finals on sheet 2, Bowden RPI. We were saying that the RPI pants are absolutely out of this world in this game here.
Oh, for sure. That's a young James Cassidy right there.
We have pink flamingos and zebra stripes. We have a traditional kind of pajamas checkered look, and then we have some diamond-looking pants as well. Very, very flashy in the pants department here. As we have been exchanging takeouts, RPI is currently still sitting with 1 in the 8-foot, and Evan has elected to. He's going to do a curl to the left side and try to split the house here so that Bowden can not get rid of both of their stones.
Evan Mullaney looking for his first win at this college spiel. It is his 4th attempt, I believe, and in all 4 of those attempts, UPenn has come out victorious, but UPenn not here in the final today.
No, actually, UPenn was in our early morning this morning if you were watching, but not in the A final and not curling in the finals this morning overall.
I believe they won the F event? The F or the E event?
I'm not sure which event, but they did end up winning their event, and Bowden has advanced to the finals here against RPI, and this has been a very well-played opening end here, as there's been a lot of takeouts and teams playing to try to minimize losses here. But RPI does have the chance to sit 2 if they can keep their stones far enough apart.
Yes. And Bowden is a team that is able to get a lot of practice in on arena ice, and they're usually very confident in their hitting game, along with RPI-1. RPI-1 plays on dedicated ice, but Schenectady has a history of running pretty straight, so their hit game also historically pretty good.
All right, so they've actually been able to get rid of both those. That was definitely an error on RPI's last shot, and Bowden was able to get rid of the stone in the 8-foot, and that just leaves 1 in the house. So RPI will need to play their takeout game well, but there was no guards, so if this end plays out, they should be able to get 1, pending any errors, but we'll see how things play out here through the last stones. I would also like to say for the RPI team, they have some solid hats going as well in this game. They only have 2, but they are 2 solid choices with, I'm confused if that is supposed to be a fishtail hat or what the hat is on the gentleman here on the left, our left-hand side.
It does look like a fish is eating his head, which is a choice.
Okay, yeah, I can see more of the body there. That makes sense. And then the other gentleman wearing a very traditional kind of 1920s themed cap.
He's ready to golf or curl, and all he's waiting for is the weather to tell him which.
I would agree with that. He's got the pants as well. I will say on this takeout, and this is a very nitpicky thing from the takeout this morning, because these are 2 very good teams. It's evident from the start, is no one's been able to roll on their takeouts yet this morning. It's left the stones, as you've kind of noticed, drifting more and more out of the house. So we saw that with the early takeouts, and now we're out in the 12-foot from stones that were in the 8-foot earlier.
I would almost argue that they're trying to do that on purpose, maybe forcing teams to prove that they can do these takeouts on the outer rings.
I certainly would if I was Bowden. Obviously, when you don't have the hammer, it's a little more difficult. But RPI has drifted some stones out that I don't think they've needed to. Again, this is a very nitpicky thing. These are very good teams from what we've seen this morning, and this end is playing out exactly as we would expect. There's been a lot of takeouts, not a lot of guards, no taking advantage of the 5-guard rule this morning, and we have. Let's see how many stones we have left. We are in the skip stones now, actually.
Zach
So
LeBlanc comes down to take his first to vice Matthew Henry.
I will say, again, the Bowden jackets are very nice.
The Bowden jacket with this almost Adidas-like pant pairing that many of the curlers are wearing, very good. Of course, I believe this is a newer curler playing lead who, maybe they haven't put in the order this year, but come nationals, I'm sure they will all be looking rather slick.
And definitely the best dressed team in terms of actual uniform for the finals this morning. Obviously, some of the other events, people are a little more festive or a little more relaxed, but in the finals, RPI has the pants, but I think Bowden has the overall best uniform.
I think they have the look. I see Bowden 1. I am scared. I'll be honest.
Certainly intimidating.
They have their stuff together.
Yes, and they hit the takeout, so now we have a wide open house coming to last 2 stones. Again, we'll expect RPI to score 1 here unless someone misses or throws out of the house. But from these teams so far this morning in the first end, they look very good, very skilled. They have been pretty much all hits on their shots.
And I would actually expect Evan Mullaney to just throw through the house, blank this end to retain the hammer.
We'll see. That would certainly be
I think he might be just choosing this line to sort of see how the ice might be behaving this morning. And there he is, Evan Mullaney.
That's his first stone of the hammer skip throw, so there's 1 stone left for both skips.
And he may be going just to feel out that draw, actually.
He definitely needs a speed test. They have thrown at least 4 takeouts on that side of the ice. It'll definitely be a lot faster than the other side, which could come into play later if we get any draw weights going, but certainly a good throw. He's in the 8-foot. He's leaving it for another takeout attempt here from Bowden.
Oh, that is Evan's first. So yeah, it does make sense that he would not throw through the house.
And then update for everyone on the other sheets. Again, we have Harvard 1 and RPI, or RIT, on sheet 1. They have about 5 stones in the house. They are coming in on the close as the other sheets are for the first end. We'll update you on scores, let you know how those are looking.
Both of those teams just coming off the ice only about 30 minutes ago, so they are going to be entering into their 4th hour of curling soon.
Yeah, and this is definitely a big potential for RIT. They have a revenge match going as RIT won, lost to Harvard 1 this morning.
They
and,
did.
This
Seeing
could
if
potentially be revenge.
they can answer back for the Tigers?
Yes,
I believe
actually,
the
we
Tigers.
actually have a big update. We actually have a first big miss on sheet 2. Bowden actually just missed the takeout, and that leaves RPI with a chance to sit 2 if Evan can just hit the house here, which, based on his first shot and his skills, we expect so. That's actually a big miss and a chance at 2 here for RPI.
It's easy to get those A event final nerves potentially because, as we know from this tournament so far, Zach LeBlanc, an excellent hitter from Bowden 1.
Yeah, and I think as we mentioned earlier, they've been playing a lot wide to the right. They actually have not been throwing down the center at all this end, and that might have just been he expected that to move a little more, and it just stayed straight and did not bend, and that actually ended wide.
This looks like another beautiful shot from Evan Mullaney. As he was speaking earlier, entering his 18th year of curling, practically born on the ice. His mother is here. Sheila Mullaney is downstairs volunteering. Lovely to have her here. One of the most lovely women I've ever met.
Always great to have volunteers, especially for the Bonspiels. And that is, for a score update, that is 2 for RPI, 1 in the first end. They did have hammer, and it was a great end. There was just one late miss by Bowden that ended up costing him the second stone. But
Great
solid
news
first
for
end.
us. Bad news for our viewers watching Sheet 2, but Angelo is back into his amazing festive sweater over on Sheet 1. So thank God for us, but we will
Yes.
stick on Sheet 2 for our A event final.
That is Angelo from Harvard 1, and they have a very tight house. There is almost all stones in play. There's only 2 stones out, and they are nearing the end. It looks like it actually might have to be measured because there are 2 stones that appear to be in the 4-foot. We will see what happens. It's hard to get there on the last stone. Sheets 3 and 4 will give an update as Sheet 2 is starting the second end. That is the final. Sheet 3 is Cornell and Hamilton 1. They are also still finishing out the first
And
end.
they have quite a bit of stones around the edge of the 8-foot. Really difficult to tell exactly what the current sitting situation is on Sheet 3.
I think Cornell is actually sitting with a stone right by the skip. If you can see that stone, it looks like it might have more, but yeah, it's a very tight one. And then on Sheet 4, we have Yale and Villanova. Again, there is a tight clustering here, but it looks like Yale is currently scoring as they approach the end. We'll provide score updates throughout as those first ends finish.
Nova does have hammer, but I do not see how they will be able to remove that Yale rock. I believe this stone's coming just a bit heavy, but they're attempting to guard a potential hit from Villanova for 2, but if they are unable to accomplish this hit, Yale will potentially steal 1 in the first end, but only time will tell, because these Nova teams are very good.
All right, we are back to Sheet 2 here. Bowden threw the first stone, and they're actually in the 8-foot in the back. It's a little tricky to see actually from where we're commentating because we can see only basically the front half of the house from where we sit. But Bowden, RPI is in the back of the house. Bowden just comes in with the attempt at a takeout here.
And Evan tries to sweep it out, but I believe that is still sitting for 1. So Evan Mullaney still looking for a center line guard, a classic maneuver for when you don't have hammer. Try to clog up that center line, making it more difficult for the team with hammer. But this comes out looking a little wide. They're sweeping, trying to get it to curve over a little bit, on and off of it.
We'll see.
But it
He might
also-
actually bring that into the house right now.
Yep.
It looks a little fast. He's going to draw that in.
Yep,
Again,
he's
that
gonna
side
try
of the
to
ice.
Get it in, and that will be counting for 1.
Yeah, that side of the ice is definitely going to be the fastest part on the sheet. They have thrown, I would say, 80% of the stones so far on that side of the ice. A lot of them being takeouts, throwing a lot of weight. So we'll see if it comes in with any draws on their side. Bowden is coming back here. We'll see if they elect to take that out. Looks like the stone might have got pushed out a little bit and is a little offline, so we'll see where it ends up. This stone does look heavy. This
I do
is
think
slowing
it
down,
is
though,
on-
considerably.
probably stick around, right around on the tee, maybe a little bit above, but it does provide a bit, perhaps blocks off the red at the back a little bit.
Yeah, and again, that ice has not been thrown on what is our left side. That is probably only the second stone so far. So ice will start a little bit slower and speed up, obviously, with more throws. And that stone looked fast. If it was on the other side, it likely would have been back, maybe even out of the house. But it slowed right down as it came towards the house and got in the 12-foot. This is actually tricky because the teams aren't electing for the takeout game that they played in the first end. The first end was essentially a handshake of consecutive takeouts until the end. But it looks like RPI is coming in for a takeout again here.
Evan really calling his sweepers on here. Looks like it is over curling, but they will be able to get just a little bit, but they will not be able to keep their shooter, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try to maybe roll that actually towards his guard, but definitely got a little over curl, but he got rid of the stone, so it's not the worst case. They still are sitting one, but Bowdoin does have what we think is a biter at the back of the house, and that can actually be tricky here because if they keep stones in play away from that stone, that can set them up for a 2 potentially. But let's see how this stone comes in because this does look a little faster, and I think they're trying to draw behind this guard, but it is very heavy.
I think they might also be trying to take that yellow one out at the top, in which case, just wide of it.
I'm not sure because I didn't see the line, so I don't know if they wanted to actually hit the takeout or draw behind that yellow stone, but either way, that stone has been burned and is out the back, and RPI is up. I think they should actually try to get rid of this biter because that stone could be a problem later, and even if they give up one, they'll still have the lead.
I think even potentially draw down to that biter, maybe use it so they can get a yellow stone that can't be taken out of play.
Yeah, that also works. Any of those are fine, but yeah, I think that they need to do something around that stone. Obviously, up 2, they have some shots to play. Giving up 1 is fine, but giving up 2 is a little more difficult here when they have this lead early.
I think Evan was expecting that yellow stone to cross the center line a little bit earlier and really come off of it, get that curl off the center line more.
Yeah, it looks like he actually called the shot you were looking for. That looked like the right weight to potentially just tap or sit on the stone, but again, not enough curl, so it actually goes out the back of the house. So we've seen a couple missed shots in this end. I think the teams are adjusting to the ice a little bit. It's obviously the first time this way. It's definitely playing a little different than the first end, but that's because there's definitely way less takeouts, so there's a lot less speed, and the skips are adjusting here because the stones are not moving quite as they expect here.
We have a score update. All sheets have finished their first end. Over on sheet 1, Harvard 1 takes 2 to start off, leading RIT 2-0. Over on sheet 3, we have Cornell taking the first end by 3, so up 3-0 to Hamilton. And on sheet 4, we have Yale stealing 1 against Villanova 2 in the first end for a score.
Yeah, that was a very packed house, as you were saying earlier. That was definitely hard for Yale to get to. They definitely needed to get rid of some of those stones early, but a good steal by Yale over Villanova. And as we can see in sheet 2 here, RPI does hit their takeout, but again, the control is not what Evan was looking for. He wanted to roll and keep that stone in play, but they do get rid of the Bowdoin stone, so RPI hits their shot, just not as optimally as they want. So they continue to play a strong takeout game, and Bowdoin's up now. Let's see what they're looking for. Are they trying to draw this, I think?
Right. I'm honestly surprised they aren't trying to play the hit on the yellow and sit 2.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that as well. They still have a biter, so if anyone can see the house, it looks like they have a biter here, but it does look like they're trying to play potentially drawing in behind this yellow. We'll see what happens. Maybe they just want to save that takeout for later, but still a little bit risky to do that. This weight looks like it might be good, but again, stones aren't curling as quite as much as the skips want.
Definitely going to go back of house, see how much Evan Mullaney wants to push this back. And it will be out of play.
That was great sweeping by Evan there. That stone looked good, but that just kept drifting, and he swept it right out just barely. So again, a few mistakes in this end by both teams, but we're still sitting with RPI at 1, just right at the edge of the 8-foot and 12. And Bowdoin has a biter and the hammer, but have not been able to get rid of this RPI stone.
Evan now looking to split the house. There is potentially be some backing, but it looks like this shot by James Cassidy might just be a little hot to be able to utilize it.
Yeah, and again, I didn't see the line if they adjusted, but that looks like the same shot that RPI attempted earlier, where they wanted to get on that stone on the button or tap it, and they were still narrow. So I don't know if they want to maybe throw a control takeout, but they definitely are concerned about that biter and haven't been able to get it out of play.
Just go over the names real quickly. We have from RPI, of course, we have our wonderful skip, Evan Mullaney. His vice is James Cassidy. His second is Isaac Safran. And his lead is Andy Pharisee. And meanwhile, Bowden 1, who takeout unfortunately flashes that RPI stone, so Evan Mullaney will have a third chance, this time his own stone.
Yeah, and that was the shot we actually discussed this morning. I think it was when we were having audio issues, but a lot of teams don't like to do a reverse curl, which is to curl from the center line out on those takeouts. And sometimes when you get out on that ice, it can drift on you. And that looks like what happened to Bowden there. The stone just never moved, and it just kept going out, and it missed that takeout. So that stone, that little stone, refuses to leave the house. It has been there since, I believe, the leads or the seconds, and is still there very late in the match. All right, I think this is going to be the same shot. I think he wants this over the center line, potentially coming back towards that biter, but we'll see if it starts to
I
fall.
want to go for weight at this point, potentially. Evan stones do have a habit of sort of gliding in exactly where he needs them, but that will do the job nicely. He has split the house efficiently. Those stones do not really allow for a double.
No, I think that was a great shot. And again, I think for Bowden, they have not been able to hit their takeouts in the second end like they could in the first end.
Yeah.
And they have a tricky situation now. They have both their skip stones, but RPI has two stones that are both scoring over their Bowden stone on the outside of the 12-foot. So they need to hit their takeouts, and they need to get rid of some stones to to avoid the risk of potentially giving up some points here.
Zach LeBlanc really thinking this over with Matthew Henry, trying to figure out what their strategy should maybe be for the remainder of this end. And Zach slides down
So
to
if
join
you were,
his front end, Isabel Crow, and I believe that is Kushi Patel playing lead.
If you were skipping this, what would you look for here? Would you want to take out and maybe try to slide behind the other, or what preference would you have? You obviously have two stones left, so you've got hammer and you've got control, but there's no guards. It's pretty open.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a tricky situation. I think on this, if I was skipping, it would really depend what I felt the more comfortable with. I usually prefer a hit, maybe a hit and roll behind that yellow that Matt is giving Broom near.
Yeah, this is interesting. He's going to cross the center line here for this shot and come out for the takeout.
However, if I was very confident in my draw weight, I might try to just come behind, but this is sort of a risk because should he miss, RPI will punish you for your misses.
All right, he did get the hit. He did
But
get
he
the
loses
takeout.
that shooter.
Actually,
Perhaps biting.
that looks from up here. That definitely looks like it's biting. But again, they have the problem of this stone. If I'm Evan, I just split the house and avoid giving those biters any chance to score, and he should be fine. He actually looks like he's going to call the takeout on that stone. So he is. I don't know if I necessarily would want to try this, but he's going to try to get rid of it, avoid any chances of a double, and really cut down on the stones Bowden has.
This might even be an attempt by Evan to try to, we haven't been this far on this ice yet, maybe see how straight the ice over here is. Because usually on the sides at Broomstones, side ice is pretty straight, maybe just confirming that.
He's having to sweep it all the way. I think he wants to roll this, actually, potentially, to keep his split house.
Oh, and a rare miss from Evan.
That's actually, just like the first end, that could potentially be a very big problem because Right now, Bowden appears to have 2 biting stones potentially,
Yes.
and if they can hit their takeout on this,
And keep their shooter in play.
that would be a 3. And even if they lose the shooter, they'll still tie it at 2. So Bowden actually gets a huge break there. Again, RPI elected to try to take out that stone. They didn't want to split the house again, so we'll see. This stone for RPI has been in play. It is the second stone they threw, and it has been not touched. There has been at least 3 stones that have sailed on this exact shot. So, not sure if it's the ice or nerves, but we'll see if they can finally get rid of this pesky little stone. Looks like he's basically keeping the line right on the stone. I think he wants to keep it closer after their shot earlier, but I definitely would want to see this hit on the inside, because if you do hit it and you get a little bounce, you want to
room
definitely
for
be
error.
coming. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right, this is the last stone of the second end on the final of the A bracket. This is Bowden and RPI. Bowden with the hammer.
A little bit potentially late of a sweep call.
Yeah, that looks like a very late. They're going to actually miss that potentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
So RPI, after being put in a very precarious situation, do get a bit lucky perhaps on a late sweep call.
Yeah, I think they just got worried from that earlier takeout. They actually missed that stone wide earlier from maybe too much line or drift. They really brought the broom tight, but they did not have enough weight to keep that straight. And
And a steal of 1.
yeah, they definitely a little bit sloppier of a second end than the first end, some missed shots, but first time playing this way on the ice. I think the teams weren't used to it. But RPI does get a steal, and that will make it 3-0 here going into the third end. And they can start to get a little more defensive potentially in playing around what shots and takeouts they want to do.
Still a lot of curling to go here. Evan sharing a few words with his teammates there.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
they might be
discussing
discussing strategy
strategy.
for sure. This end, if anyone's just tuning in or missed the first end, they threw a lot of takeouts in this direction to start the match, and all of the teams were hitting in the first end on their takeouts. It came down to a late stone miss, actually, the only miss that really cost Bowden 2 stones. But we'll see. It looks like they're going for a center line guard here, just trying to muck things up. There actually has not been really any guard play through the first 2 ends. Been a lot of at the house, a lot of takeouts, but not a lot of guards.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot because of exactly what we're seeing now. Guards, initial guards, going a little deep, and then being able to start the hit game right away as Zach is planning to do.
Yeah, and that's the side of the ice again, and we've mentioned this. I've mentioned this a few times. They've been throwing a lot of stones on that side of the ice. It's definitely going to be playing fast. It'll be playing faster than the other side. We'll see if the teams can adjust. But yeah, the guard drifts in.
And at this point, I think it's really because again, a lot of these curlers are 4 years or under, and often only get about 1 or 2 years of skipping experience in. And a nice shot by Miss Patel there.
That was a great shot. I actually was thinking that stone wasn't going to come back, but that was
No.
perfect amount of curl and weight.
Very nice weight. Perhaps, I believe it was a little wide, but also just a touch light, and sort of 2 errors equaling out to make a good shot. Meanwhile, it seems like this shot
That's,
a little too heavy,
oh, here it comes though. Oh,
but
and
only gonna nudge it over. Evan showing us his 18 years of sweeping experience, and it might still be biting.
yeah, that's hard to see. If that's biting, that's obviously a big stone for Bowden, and they can start maybe looking to split the house. But
Evan did smile afterwards, but as Evan is a student at an engineering school and even studying biology, that might just be a familiar smile of, I tried so hard and I did not succeed.
I agree. I think it might be out though
Is
because
it biting?
it is biting. I was going to
All
say,
right.
I think with the shot call here for Bowden, that can't be biting. They were looking to put a stone on the same side of the house there. They had sent it through the back, which is an unfortunate miss, but they were calling like that stone was not in the house. So it looks like actually Evan was able to sweep that out, which was very impressive to get that sweep. And that is a big win for them. It's an empty house right now with no guards again.
I think a strategy that is often used in collegiate curling, especially when you are ahead, is trying to force the team with hammer to ignore any guard play. Because if you can get them chasing early, they will often sort of get stressed out about a shot if it's anywhere in the forefoot and feeling like they need to attack it early and really forgetting about the free guard rule, putting up their guards, which really allows for bigger ends to be scored.
Agree, and I also think, like you mentioned earlier, again, mostly younger curlers here, mostly new curlers, so there will be some missed shots as we saw in the last end, and we've seen with some of the guards that the weight has been a little tricky this morning, so it's hard to tell if teams just are worrying about scoring stones and chasing, but it looks like they are. As Evan updates the score, we were a little delayed on the scoreboard, but again, it's 3-0 here in the final. It's Bowdoin 1 versus RPI 1.
And I believe all of these curlers on our featured sheet 2, are curlers that learned out of the college program other than Evan. And I know Evan has done a lot of the training at RPI to really get a lot of new curlers trained and out of the Schenectady Curling Club.
Yeah, and that was a good takeout. Again, the control of the rolls has been a little difficult this morning, but they did get rid of the RPI stone, and they do still have that stone in play, so they are scoring 1, and it's going to be pretty far out there for this takeout shot that Evan's going to call. Want to get a score update. Sheet 1 is Harvard 1 and RIT, and it's now 2-1. After 2 ends, Harvard has the lead. Harvard also has the hammer now. Sheet 4, which is Yale versus Villanova 2, that is 1-1 after 2 ends, as Villanova got the score all evened up after the first end. And Sheet 3, Cornell Hamilton 1, they are just finishing the second end, so they are still in the second end. There is actually 7 guards in play, it looks like now. A very well-guarded house, but it is Cornell is currently scoring in that end, and is Cornell leading 3-0. We'll see how that ends up. But again, back to the main sheet, Bowdoin 1 and RPI. RPI was able to hit the takeout, and Bowdoin is coming back at their stone now. We'll see where this ends up.
And I think they may spill out here, come close. Evan certainly is expecting it. And just a beautiful sweep job.
That one might be close, though. I can't tell on that. Yeah, he's lining up like he wants to take that out.
Definitely fighting, but so great. Playing his penultimate collegiate Bonspiel here. He is graduating a semester early from RPI. And after this, his last Bonspiel will likely be his own, first week of December, hosted at the Schenectady Curling Club.
I would like to comment on that shot there. That's a great roll. They've had some trouble in the second end with those rolls and getting what Evan wanted, but that is a great takeout, and he gets it back towards the middle of the house, and everything they wanted to force Bowdoin to try to take out their stone and force them to make shots.
Broomstones is very unforgiving if you do not have a solid release, and also often on the sides for takeouts where we've been seeing a lot of the lines being delivered. Not a ton of curl out there.
Wow, and I just want to comment and interrupt here. Sheet 3, that is a wonderful shot by Cornell. There is a very small window, and they just put their last skip stone
Right in it.
right in the forefoot, touching the button.
I believe that is Ty from Cornell, really.
That is a great shot. Hamilton has a very difficult situation here, or they might give up 2, and there is a lot of guards in play. I think they're going to have to follow that with the same shot. And
Yep, and it's a tricky shot to make, but Ty from Cornell just showed them how. I'm really happy to see this Cornell versus Hamilton 1 setup. I believe this is the C event final, but Cornell only joined the collegiate curling circuit, I believe, last year, and Hamilton 1 doing a lot of rebuilding over the last couple of years after losing some long-term curlers a couple of seasons ago, but clearly back, clearly been putting their practice in, and great to see them in
here comes the last stone on that end, and we'll call this in, as this is a very tricky shot. We'll update you on sheet 2 here shortly, as there's been some interesting developments there, but here's the last shot from Hamilton 1, trying to prevent giving up 2, and they really need this stone to curl. It needs to come to the house now.
And I think they want to start sweeping because
it looks like they better get on it. Get on it hard. There we go. The
And
vice is coming
I do
up.
not think
They've got to
that'll
get it there.
in, and
Oh,
it just
wow.
goes above the rings for Cornell to steal 2 to bring the score on sheet 3. Cornell 5, Hamilton 0 after 2 ends.
And bringing it back to sheet 2, there was actually a really great play by Bowden. They actually sat on the RPI stone. They elected not to take it out, which I think is the right choice. They've been playing a lot of takeouts. They are down. They need to get a little more aggressive. They sat perfectly. RPI did the takeout, and they actually got rid of both their stones and left Bowden's stone in because of how it bounced. And that left them sitting 1, but it looks like they might have just thrown it out of the house. Oh, no, it stayed. It
And
stays in the 12.
At this point, we see a few rocks now, but behind T, so these potentially could be stuck to. And once a stone is frozen, we say, to another stone, they are often difficult to remove, especially depending on the alignment between those 2 stones.
Yeah, and that's what happened on that last shot. Is Bowden was frozen right to the stone, and when RPI hit it, they rolled out to one side, and their back stone was eliminated, and it left Bowden. I think Evan might be trying a double here. Those stones look a little offset, but that would be tricky. He's at least going to go for the 1. Again, Bowden has the hammer, so they want to keep as many stones in the house as they can at this point. There's no guards. There's nothing protecting them. They
Is
really are
Evan
hoping
going
for
for
a miss.
the double here? Definitely needs to curl for him.
Yeah, it's not going to get it, but he does get the takeout,
But
and he
gets
taps it.
almost,
Wow.
wow.
That's what he wants. So I believe that's just his first shot.
I believe so as well.
Yes, so that's the first skip stone for RPI. So there's 2 shots left for Bowden, 1 shot left for RPI. I think if you're Bowden, you obviously want to get the takeout, but you need to be careful that you don't get rid of your own stone in the back of the house here.
Sorry, I'm just admiring the sweeping by Harvard 1 over on sheet 1. They must have a great coach.
For those of you who don't know, their coach is actually commentating right here. Giving
And she's not biased at all.
a pat on the back. I will say, I am missing the sweater game, so I think that was actually just thrown by Angelo.
It was just thrown by Angelo.
And I will say that
Fashion icon and great collegiate curler in his 2nd season here.
that was a good shot. There's a lot of guards in that sheet. Again, there are tight matches across the board here, but we are seeing, I'm not sure with this much ice what Bowden's going for here. This doesn't look like a
They're
takeout.
going again for the Yellowstone.
This looks like they might want to just tap. I think they're playing this very safe. This needs to curl, though, because they could potentially split and get rid of both stones, which does not favor them, and this doesn't look like it's going to come in.
It really seems like Bowden is having an issue with either line and their delivery or just reading the ice and giving the proper amount of room for a shot.
Yeah.
Fortunately for them, they do end up in an almost nice place. Usually a very good place near that Yellowstone, but Evan Mullaney, I think, will be able to just take that out.
Yeah,
Find
let's.
out soon with his last. Of
I
course, if
couldn't
that-
see the line, but he might have been offline. But yeah, that stone, he definitely wanted it to move more. I don't know if it was a broom issue or a line issue on his throw, but we'll see with this shot that Evan has to throw, because I think he should go for the tick. He seems to be good enough,
I think
but
he's
he's
even doing
throwing
a double
fast.
because he does not mind doing a double and having his shooter stick around.
Yep, that's what he's definitely going for. This is going to come right in and hit the red stone. And we'll see if that plays on the biter. Oh, that's...
So is able to stick around. So Bowden either has to go after this and try to flank this end, but they are.
I think they should just throw a curl. Obviously, it's been playing straighter than they want.
I am very confused why they are going for a draw from this side.
I am as well. For
They
context,
have
they have thrown
backing.
no stones on this side of the ice, really, and I think they should
have
just throw
backing
center
on the
line.
other side. If they
Yes.
even rub up on that RPI, if they are deciding to just go for one right now,
They are. I think they should have
Use
thrown the
backing.
center and curled out towards
Yep.
those 2 stones. Again, that red stone, which we didn't think was a biter, but it's definitely not now. It's RPI sitting 1, and this is the final stone of the 3rd end for Bowden.
and you do not want RPI to do another steal here should this come up a little heavy or a little light.
Yeah, let's see how this stone
And
looks.
it looks pretty light. Sweeper is really on it.
Yeah, I think the vice needs to get up there as well. That looks like they
Yep,
might need
that's
to
coming up.
really get that stone moving. I
Running
don't
up
think it's going to have the
and-
house. We'll see.
They
Here
are
it comes.
hitting it.
It looks like it's going to be shy. Oh, this is close.
And yep, that's exactly
That's
what
short.
the risk of that is. Meanwhile, had he thrown to the other side, tried to use that backing, you can go into the shot thinking, just don't be light because you have a little bit of wiggle room if you are a little heavy.
Yeah, and again, that side of the ice, they've not been throwing on. This is, we are through 3 ends at this point, and there have maybe been 5 stones at most thrown on that side of the ice. It is definitely playing at a different speed. They threw their last stone a little heavier, and I think they might have over-adjusted there, but that is a costly mistake as we've noted, Evan is a very good skip, and giving him points is very dangerous here in this final.
He does not make it easy for a comeback, that's certainly true.
Bowden has been playing a great game. They've had a few mistakes. The problem has been they've been costly. In the first end, their mistake cost them 2 stones instead of 1 for RPI. They played beautifully through 9 stones. Just a small miss, nothing egregious. The second end, again, just a small miss very late in the end. And Evan as a skip has been very punishing, forcing them to make shots. And here again in the end of the third end, just a small miss, just short, maybe 4 inches short, and that cost them the end.
And Evan wanting to remove that stone from play because he does not want to give Bowden anything to stick to. He does not want a possibility for them to score a big end and come back in this.
Yeah, I think he's obviously a smart skip. He seems to know very well what he's doing. Obviously, he mentioned to us he's been curling for around 18 years, for a long time. I think he's just going to go to a takeout game at this point.
Yep.
He's not been afraid to throw the takeouts, and to his credit, obviously one of the things as a skip is you have to know the ability of your players and what shots they can hit. His team has hit them. All 3 have been hitting the takeouts, and that is a bad first stone for Bowden. That is well short. I think they were finally trying to get a guard game going, and they are just, I think at this point, need to take a moment and catch a breath. They're a very good team. They've been playing very well. I think they're just a little frustrated.
I also think because Evan is quite well known on the circuit here, and I think a lot of it is mental when going against him. I don't remember what my record against Evan Mullaney skipping is, but I can promise it's not.
I have 0 wins and 0 losses. But no, yes, agreed. He seems to be a very, very intelligent skip. And it looks like they're going to try to work this stone very close to the house.
Try to get a center guard as close as possible.
To be honest, I think he will end up using that stone or getting rid of it soon, because I don't think he wanted a guard there as he swept that very vigorously. As you noted with the first stone, I think he wants to keep stones in the house and play a takeout game and force Bowden to play a takeout game so they can't play the draw.
I think also you might have been going for a bit of a directional sweep there if you did want a lower guard, closer guard if you will. But really just try to get that rock to dig in and curl towards the center line, and unfortunately a little too big of an adjustment from the lead from Bowden 1.
Yeah, again, that was 2 short stones. I don't know if the ice is playing slow coming back. It was in the first end. And just a quick update on sheet 1, actually. Harvard, because we have the Harvard coach here, just threw a great takeout, and they have a very tight on the button stone with RIT. It's hard to tell who's scoring on sheet 1 right now, but that was almost a double. I think with a little more weight they would have had it, but that was a great shot by Harvard. I'm not sure who took it.
I believe that was their skip, Kat. A wonderful curler. We are happy to have her. Originally from Canada, and her curling shows.
All right, so here we go. RPI bringing a stone, and they actually look like they're trying to sweep this behind their own guard, which would be good, but it looks like it's mostly uncovered.
Open.
This does give a chance for a takeout, and maybe they can just move a little if they can get a good takeout behind that guard, which Bowden needs, as we've stated. They need stones in the house. It's still very early in this match, but I think right now they just need to see a point on the board
And looking
to help
for
them
a
out.
lower weight takeout here. Maybe a lot of ice because you definitely would prefer to be able to get to the inside of the stone.
Agreed.
And that looks wide.
Yeah, that
Wide
release
and
looks a
heavy.
little shaky, and as you noted, the ice here at Broomstones can be very unforgiving, but it's coming here. We'll see if it can still get it on the outside.
They will be able to remove this stone from play. Let's get some good sweeping in, but they do pop out still completely unguarded, and RPI will try to clean up a little bit.
And again, Evan calling for a takeout. I would say this has been undoubtedly through 3 ends, a takeout game, and RPI has been the better team at the takeout so far. And props to them. It's certainly hard, especially as a newer curler, to have the takeout speed and the releases that you need. And here comes the pants crew, as we commented on the fashion choices. All three coming down the ice right now. And this is a great look with the pink flamingos and the zebras, I think, being the favorites for the best outfit.
Ooh, unfortunately, just a little wide from Isaac. But Bowden now having the opportunity to guard.
Yeah, I think they're going to call for the edge of the 12-foot again. They need scoring stones, and that will force RPI to try to throw a takeout and protect their scoring stone they have now.
The event.
Yeah, so B event on sheet 1. This is Harvard and RIT. This is very interesting. Harvard now, they actually might not be scoring. It's hard to tell what they're looking at here, but there's 2 stones close.
They are looking for perhaps a hidden roll off of their own into the yellow, removing the yellow from play. Oh, ooh, wow, they are checking out every angle they have here.
Yeah, and again, as you noted, it seems to be an experienced skip here. She's really trying to figure out her best line. It's a little bit tricky here. There's a lot of guards in play. It looks like they're going to go for a takeout and promotion.
Oh, this is truly exciting. And her front end cheering her on. I believe I got a look up to the booth. Yedong,
All right.
Angelo cheering up to me. Angelo just looking so fresh. So fresh.
Harvard has the hammer, and I believe this is the last stone, but I can't see down. But this will be a very difficult shot. But they are up 1, and
It would be nice to have.
let's see. The line looks good. It's going to be a question of weight at this point.
Jack Cordes quickly going back. It sounds like Kat is not happy with this shot.
No.
And
Well, maybe they can. Oh, let's see if they can tap that one.
unfortunately not.
Wow, that actually might have
I still believe
worked.
the yellow is sitting.
It's very close. It's hard to tell from our end, obviously, but they did barely tap. That was, as I was saying earlier, a happy little accident.
Yep.
Yep,
Does
it
look
is
like
yellow.
that yellow rock is sitting.
Yes.
A very young team, which is great to see in terms of curling years. Kat is more experienced. She did begin curling in Canada a bit, but other than that, her lead, Yedong, is a second-year curler, along with Angelo, her second, and her vice, Jack Cordes. I believe they're all second-year curlers, and to get to the B event final, very impressive.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment. And just a quick update on sheet 2. Well, Evan's going to be happy with that. Bowden had a guard they wanted to put up, but the guard was a little narrow, and that left the stone exposed. And as we stated, if you make even small mistakes so far this morning, RPI has been punishing, and they get right around that guard and hit their takeout, which is exactly what they wanted.
Oh, you want me to teach you how to do it? Yeah.
So, no stones in the house right now, counting that I can see.
Back on 2 now.
All right.
This is
Score on 1 is.
Yes, the score on 1, we just switched over back to sheet 2, which is the A event final, the main event. The score on sheet 1, which we were just on, is Harvard RIT, tied up 2-2 actually. We'll do a quick score update across the board. Yale and Villanova have also finished their third end, and Yale put up a big score. It's now 4-1. They put up 3 in that third end to
Yale
take a
really
lead.
does have a habit of scoring some big
Somebody
ends.
has configured.
And this is not only this tournament, but many previous ones. You often see Yale scoring or stealing 3 or even more in an end.
Yeah, they started there with a great high guard.
I don't know what they're drinking down there in New Haven, but someone should check the water.
Great shot, great end. So they're up, as we said, 4-1 through 3. On sheet 3, it's Cornell Hamilton 1, and Cornell is up 5-0 through 2. They have a very busy house, and Cornell actually is sitting 3 right now, which can be problematic.
So
Hamilton
far,
needs some takeouts.
A great day for the Ivies on sheets 3 and 4 with Cornell and Yale both taking commanding
Yeah,
leads.
toggles these two.
Harvard
So that's ready.
waiting for their Ivy moment. But, I mean, they're against engineers. What can you do? A great engineering school.
Certainly is. And sheet 2, which is the main sheet again, it's Bowden 1, RPI 1. Evan is throwing his first skip stone, and we look like he wants to draw, but I think he's going to actually end up promoting this guard here. I don't think it'll
See
get
if they
around
can
it.
hold it. And no, it will just tick over.
I actually think he's going to be okay with that because he gets a
It does-
biter and 2 center guards now.
Yes, it does straighten out that guard, no longer leaving potentially a port through the center.
But that is, a miss, a small miss, but a favorable miss because it ends up getting him a stone still in the house, obviously not protected, but he just wants to keep Bowden from scoring any big numbers. A 1 is really what he wants to hold them to here. The 2 guards give Bowden something to work with. I think they need to get behind the yellow stone, try to really stay hidden from Evan, who's been hitting his shots, and see if they can stay out. They might try a takeout here, though. I think they're going to go the draw. It looks like a draw.
I will say, behind me, Alex Hull, longtime Colgate and MIT curler, not only curler skip, has commented that he is in love with Angelo's sweater.
Yeah, I think we've universally seen that the sweater from Angelo has won the crowd today.
I don't know if I think he knew exactly what he was doing when he showed up in that sweater.
Now, here's my question. How do you feel about that sweater with the RPI pants, the diamond pants? They're down, their leads loading the stone. I think they might be a little too loud
I
to
think
go
it's a
with the
little
sweater.
too loud. I think Angelo's is a little more of muted tones
Okay.
that wouldn't necessarily go, but I think as you were saying earlier in the broadcast, some nice navy pants, perhaps
Navy?
some similar to the dark blue that Yale or Villanova often wear.
I think actually what might work for the Harvard colors is maybe some crimson pants would work with that. Has a little bit of red. It would be very loud, but I think it's kind of what he's going for. All right, here we go. This is Evan's last shot. Again, he's the skip for RPI 1, who has a good lead here in the A final over Bowden 1.
Going
Bowden's
for that
last shot
draw
missed.
for 2, putting it right behind those center guards, making it tricky for Bowden, who is
Yeah.
already
It looks like he's got it.
score, forced to 1. Sweepers on it. Might want to switch for a little
He's
bit more
gonna-
directional. And it does go to the back, which, but far enough back, it does benefit Bowden because now again they have something that they could potentially
gotta
stick
stop.
to if
Yeah.
they are heavy.
So the reason this is beneficial for anyone who's maybe a little less familiar is if you throw a stone a little heavier, you don't want to go out the back, but you have kind of what's known as a backstop or a stone you can stick to here. So if you hit that stone, you're likely still in play. This has been the theme, though. RPI has done this through the first 3 ends. They have put the stones in the house for the last stone, and they are forcing Bowden to hit shots, which have so far been their few misses, have been late in the ends.
It seems that we have
They always leave that on.
the Vice from Harvard 2 checking in the comments. Jack Schroeder saying go Crimson, and an obvious show is Angelo, because really, I'll be honest, if I could just have a constant stream on Angelo, I would.
Yeah, I think Angelo has won the best shirt we've seen today.
In my
Very
life, I'll
stylish.
say it.
That is a big opinion. Oh, here we have the stone from Bowden coming in. It looks like this time they have the weight. They might need that backstop, though.
Yep.
Learning it for a future.
And it makes sense for RPI to sweep this, but it is good from Skip Zach Lafone.
And again, I think that's huge for Bowden. I think they needed to see a point on the board. Obviously, 1 is not what they were wanting, but 1 gets them off of 0, and I think this can help their mentality. I think they were a little bit frustrated with themselves. In that end, you could see it a little bit, but I think this will help, and hopefully will tighten up the game here as we move into the 5th end. The score after 4 is going to be 4-1 RPI 1. And just a score update from Sheet 3, which we were letting you know is a very busy house. Cornell put up another 2, and they have a commanding lead. It is 7-0 over Hamilton 1 on Sheet 3 for Cornell, and that is through 3 ends. They've just started the 4th. Sheet 1, which is where Angelo is, and the sweater of the day. That is Harvard 1 and RIT 2, and right now RIT has one stone in the house, and they just brought another in very close to their own stone. They might even stick it here. Almost sticking. That would be very hard to get rid of both. They have about 4 stones left for each team. Sheet 2, which is our main event, this is Bowden and RPI. Bowden has led off here as they just got on the board. We'll see the stone looks very heavy, though. It might be just right out the back. Evan's going to sweep it, but I think it's fine to just let this one go.
It's like an egg. Sometimes you just need to let it go.
Yeah.
Don't
again,
try saving what's gone, you know?
But if I would
Yeah,
say,
I think that's, we talked about it last time. It's been very hard to get guards up on this ice. I don't know how many teams have been calling for them, but there has been very little guard play. I think Bowden honestly wants to get it because at this point we've seen that RPI will win the takeout game. I think they just need to get some guards up and hope to create a clogged house.
sure. Hello, Carol.
Evan is stuck with these center guards. He has gotten them. This is a little off center, but I think he'll still be happy. He's been getting some guards, again, not as many as they want.
Liked it to come over a little more for a corner guard that they could utilize with Hammer, but that will do just nicely.
This is actually going to be a big overcorrect. This looks like it might be Hawk. This looks like a very light stone here from Bowden. Again, just an over-adjustment. That's a common thing to make as a new curler is when you put a stone out the back, it's only a small change to get the stone, even as a guard weight. And some people just change their push out of the hack substantially, and that can alter a stone so you're very short like that. But,
I will say when training new curlers, I much prefer to see an over-adjustment than no adjustment at all.
Agreed. It's definitely good to be conscious and make an adjustment. And I think, it's better to be short, obviously, than long. It looks like he's actually
Evan
going to...
going for a tick to make a better...
Well, that actually is not going to work out for him.
I think he didn't want that center guard up. I think he would have preferred for
He
that
wanted the tick,
shooter
but,
to stick around as a nicer position corner guard, but...
Interesting.
Oh, a nice shot from Jack Cordes of Harvard. And maybe not as nice as I initially thought, as RIT tries to sweep it, but it will stick around. Still looks fully in the 8, counting toward 3, and hopefully sweepers know draw weight a little bit for
Yeah, hopefully they had the time
Matthew's
down
next
there.
2 stones.
That's sheet 1, but yeah, again, sheet 2.
Sorry, I get distracted by Harvard.
No, that
They're a
was a
very
very-
lovely team. They're very nice, and I'm so glad they made it to a final so they can stick around for cleanup.
Yeah, definitely need more people for cleanup. We're glad they're here. Again, on sheet 2, Evan elected to take out his own guard there. I think he would have rather had the tick, but we are now past the 5 stone free guard rule, so I think he's going to elect to just take this stone out. Again, RPI has been playing a great takeout game through the first 4 ends. They have hit the majority of their takeouts, maybe only missing 1, and they're coming in for another here. They are leaving no stones for Bowden. They do not want opportunities for them to get multiple points.
And leaving a nice corner guard that Bowden will try to utilize, but always dangerous to come behind another team's guard.
Honestly, I think if I'm Bowden, I just keep throwing guards here and see if RPI will leave them, because at this point, I think they really need to get some traffic. All right, here comes the stone. As you saw, it just got a big amount of movement here. It's actually going to tap that guard. That stone moved a lot late.
A pretty nice attempt, though.
Yeah, it got them in, and it pushed that guard a little further out, so they're going to force another takeout here and keep RPI stones out of the house unless they can roll in. So
We have a comment from former Bowden skip Tom saying, "Go you Bears." Tom, miss you. It was nice to see Cole at the club the other day, but hope you're doing great.
And this actually might be a missed shot. This looks like it's drifting on RPI. This could be very
yeah.
favorable for Bowden.
Very fast, just not curling, not grinding up, and
Again, as noted earlier by my wonderful co-commentator, when you have even a small mistake in your release, it affects you as this ice is not forgiving. And that was just a slight push out, and that caused that stone to drift, and it was not coming back at that speed.
Bowden now looking to draw behind their own stone that's just at the top of the 12-foot.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to play this aggressive. They're trying to get a lot of points.
And if you come in a little narrow, you can potentially advance your red and leave a guard around.
I think that might be the happy accident they're going for here, because this stone last time that they threw on a similar line moved a lot late, and this looks like it might do the same. We'll see. This is about where it started to move, and we can see it coming in again with a big move just before the line.
Yep, Vice.
This actually
Matthew
might get a very
Henry.
favorable tick.
Yep, and then this will leave Bowden sitting two, but both exposed.
Definitely both exposed. A double is possible here, but they need to hit it just right, because if RPI goes through the house again, that could be a big problem with them. They obviously have a lead, so we'll see how this takeout goes. Their takeout game has been strong. But this might be drifting again. This could be a big problem. We'll see if this comes in.
So is there only
I
one?
think they could even
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
He almost got his double, but that
Just
stone was
needed about
close.
a centimeter, maybe two more of curl.
Looking at it in there.
Yeah, that was a good weight. Not if it was any faster, that definitely could have had the same problem as their last one. But Bowden has the chance now. I think I might.
You know, that might be a good time to say, you know what, there's something exciting.
Yeah.
And you just talk to the inputs and say, hey, I'm going to switch that.
There we go. Sorry, I had kicked my own cord issue there. It looks like they're going to come around and try to get behind their own stone again here, but there's still a wide open house. I think they need to throw guards. Evan has been hitting his shots. This is tricky. Obviously, they're down. They're playing from a deficit, but I think at this point they're obviously leaving the house open. They're trying to get behind their own stone to see what they can get here.
Is the sound of the house.
Okay.
Like, potentially
6-6.
Here it comes again. That's
a
a
misread by the sweepers who were on it early and then called off because that stone was rather heavy.
yeah, and again, it will be interesting to see what happens with this ice. But coming in from the left to the right, as you face the house, the stones are curling a lot, and they're curling late.
How do you top?
We'll see if the skips notice that for potentially later in the match. Again, another takeout here, and this one is wide again. Actually, RPI has had some takeout issues in the last couple stones, but that somehow was very favorable. They actually used their own guard to take out the Bowden stone, and they got very lucky with that shot.
But sometimes.
Happy little accident, as we like to say, and now they're scoring one. I think Bowden has to take this out. They really can only afford to give up one right now, as RPI has been playing a very good game from the lead position.
Yeah, clicking on this.
Last stone on sheet one as Harvard is trying to curl in for the button, and here comes the sweeping. We need to get some aggressive sweeping here.
Skip yelling at her three other teammates, jumping up, and that is a beautiful draw from Cat Blue. Oh my goodness. High fives all around
What a shot by
among
Cat.
Yedong. Yedong waves up to me because he's proud.
Again, this is
Jack
sheet one.
Portis doing great. Angelo obviously winning the sweater game and taking one for his team.
What a beautiful draw. Again, there was an open front of the house, but that was the perfect weight. Again, last time they were just about 3 inches long, but what a great shot by Cat. I will say, since we have the coach here, she's got to get Jadon a little more over his broom on the sweeping there. He was a little bit behind his broom, but again, second-year curler, he'll get that with time. A great
Yedong
shot by
sweeps with a
Cat.
passion that I can only wish other people had in any aspect of their lives. I'll say it.
Small update from sheet two. Bowden actually misses that takeout, and this is what we saw in the first end. This could end up giving RPI 2 right now. If they play this right, I think they're going to split the house, really force Bowden to try to get some tough shots, because right now they have a stone on the 12, and they have 2 shots on their skip, and they have the hammer.
So once it's up and running,
So score update from sheet 1, Harvard has taken the lead now. It is 3-2 through 4 ends. They've just started the 5th. Sheet 4, Yale and Villanova, we can see that Villanova just put up 1, and it is now 4-2. Yale is in the lead. And sheet 3, which is Cornell and Hamilton 1. Cornell has a big lead. They're up 7-0 through 3 ends. They are in the 4th. And right now, it looks like Cornell is scoring 1, and they are on the skip stones. This is actually the emptiest their house has been through the first 4 ends. They've had very busy games, not a lot of stones taken out, but there's only 3 stones in play. And then sheet 2, our main sheet, the A final. This is Bowdoin 1 and RPI 1. It is 4-1 right now, RPI, and they have hit another great shot splitting the house. Evan has done exactly what he was looking for. This really makes it difficult for Bowdoin to prevent RPI from getting 2.
You know, when you do the toggle, it could either just, right, it just controls whether. Yeah.
All right, so this is the last stone for Bowdoin. This is the 5th end. They are down 3 stones. They really just want to force RPI to hit a shot, take out the stone in the 8 foot, and then see what can happen. Maybe they catch a break and steal 1 or only give up 1, but they really want to avoid giving up multiple points here.
Yeah.
All right, here comes the stone from the skip, and he has him sweeping hard. It looks like it's on line. We'll see where it goes after it hits.
Once the draw's complete, you stop that draw.
There we go, and it rolls right to the center line on the 4 foot.
Evan is quick to put up brooms. He knows exactly what he's about to do. He wants to hit it out, keep the shooter, and keep this house lit.
But it looks like
This is actually the hammer stone, so last stone of the 5th end. He wants to just keep his shot in play with the takeout. He can get 2. He'll be happy with 1, so even if he loses his shooter, it's not the worst. He just has to get rid of that Bowdoin stone, so he can't miss the takeout, and he'll be happy.
last year, somewhere here it must be hardwired to get some shape.
All right, here comes the stone.
Yes.
He is having them sweep it hard. It is on the center
He
line.
does not want it to cross the center line, and it looks like it'll be just a
Let's see. That stone looks to be in. So it caught over the center line, but he had him sweep early. That was a great call by Evan, because if they didn't sweep, that stone is likely out of play. They get their 2 stones here, and this is a big lead now for RPI. They are up 6-1 through 5 ends. This is the A final. The main final is Bowdoin 1 versus RPI 1.
I think that's a shot that is, you're thankful enough to your sweepers where, you know, you'll pat them on the back and give a big thank you, maybe take them out for lunch, but a little too close for comfort for Evan might get them to hit the gym
Yeah,
when
I
they
think-
get back to Troy, New York.
Yeah, I think the big thing for RPI is they've hit their takeouts, and this is a show you're having a good day, is they've mainly just been a little picky about, they're not happy with their rolls, but their rolls have still been in play. So that was another great example. He hit the shot, he almost overrolled, but they've just been catching the breaks today, and they've been playing a great takeout game. It's why they have a good
Tells
lead.
me that this name doesn't.
We'll see how this end goes. We're entering the 6th end. We've been saying there hasn't been a lot of guards on sheet 2. Some of the other sheets are playing a big guard game. Sheet 1 right now, RIT actually has 2 centerline guards. They're looking to promote, and they actually do promote right behind their guard. That's actually a favorable shot for them. We'll see how it works out.
Ooh, and we do have a curler down, but an icon, RPI's lead, rolls out of the way just as he should, because ultimately all that matters is that you do not burn the stone. Congratulations.
What a rollout there. I would just like to say, big shout out. If you're not watching the video for some reason or
Mr.
delayed,
Pharisee,
yeah, he fell and he immediately rolled. He would have burned that stone, and that just means the stone's out of play if you touch it. And he got out of the way very quickly. Hopefully he's okay. He looks to be fine. Again, falling while you're sweeping can be very dangerous in curling. He looks to be okay, which is good. We're glad he's okay, and the stone is in play. It is in the house. All right, Bowdoin is on deck now, and they've got their first stone in the end coming in. We'll see what they play. They've had a few issues with some of their early stones, but I think they've got the weight now, which is good. They want some guards. They're putting a guard in play. And again, to my wonderful co-commentator's point, they are not falling, at least for the first stone, they're not falling for trying to hit the takeouts early. They've realized RPI has been hitting the takeouts. They got to stay outside the house, take advantage of the free guard rule. I think Evan wanted a tick, but this stone looks fast. I don't think he's going to get what he wants here. Yeah, he's going to sweep this out of play. He wants this stone gone.
Yep, he would rather have it gone than behind T.
All right, Bowden's going to try to get behind their guard right now, and Bowden has the hammer in this end. They need some guards just because RPI has been beautifully hitting their takeouts today, really reducing any chances Bowden's had of getting multiple stones in the house. All right, this stone appears to be curling early. I'm not sure if it was a release or just is drifting, but it looks like they're going to have potentially another guard here, which isn't the worst for them, just because they need some protection for the house so they can get some stones in. All right, that is a high guard.
Meanwhile, in the B-event final, I think Jack Cordes just is putting in a beautiful draw, and oh my goodness, he gives himself a nod of approval.
Yeah, that is
Slides
Harvard
back.
one with some great sweeping again. Harvard
Wow.
has swept the last two shots we've called from them, not the last two shots thrown, but the last two shots we've announced. They've had some beautiful sweeping. Shout out to their coach for teaching them well.
Well, I know Jack's mom was listening to some earlier commentary, and I think she should be ultimately the one to thank for raising such a wonderful young man who was smart enough to come to Harvard for a graduate program that would put him here for 6 years.
Yeah, also,
Lots of
Jack's
years to
mom,
get curling in.
feel free to tell him he better have a clean apartment, and when he's home for the holidays, with that type of sweeping, he can certainly be cleaning the house a lot more.
Get that boy a Swiffer. He knows how to use one.
All right, and we can see actually, I want to follow that up because RIT just hit a wonderful shot. They took out that stone and they've rolled in on the button and bumped another. That is actually perfect. And if I'm Harvard, they need to sit because that is a tricky house situation right now.
I might actually see if we can switch over to sheet 1 real quickly. Maybe switch over to sheet 1. I sure would. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to switch over to sheet 1 right now just for an update. Bowden and RPI. RPI actually hit a guard too early. They had to put the guard back due to the 5-guard rule, which means you cannot take out a guard
Cat
or a stone
asking
above the house.
Jack to do what is often the hardest shot, the same shot. He gets a fortunate tick.
That is a beautiful tick.
There you go, Jack. Oh my god.
So the good news here is that stone is actually not able to be taken out with one shot by RIT.
Certainly not.
And Jack's last shot, which was beautiful, was a little bit exposed, and RIT hit a perfect shot. So now their question is, what can they do? How many stones do we actually have left in this end? Because we're approaching the end here.
I believe that was Harvard's Vice's second shot, and
Correct.
if RIT has the hammer, I believe this is their Vice's last shot, and then we will have 4 stones for the skips.
Correct. So there are 5 stones left in this end, 3 for RIT, 2 for Harvard. So RIT actually has some room here, and I think, you know, again, this is a lot of newer curlers because this is college, and this is a lot of people haven't been curling for very long. But these are the tricky situations where strategy comes into play. Sometimes you have to take out your own stones. Sometimes you need to make room.
It looks like they're trying to do an angled promote and takeout, but just a bit wide. It is definitely hard with that kind of weight, especially on the outside edges of these sheets.
Yeah,
but
I think they should have kept the line more narrow because if they actually hit that yellow stone in the 12, that actually might have been a good angle to hit the red.
Yep, I think that's what they were going for.
But yeah, certainly a very tricky house. They have 2 stones left. If I'm Harvard, I'm not sure if they're scoring. If they're scoring, I definitely think they should either sit or throw a guard, potentially actually on the right side of this sheet, because I think on the left side there's not any room for RIT, and a right side guard really avoids the plinko or really jumbled situation that could be an unlucky shot, but an unlikely shot.
And I think Harvard would be happy to take a steal of 1 here, extend their lead to 2 above RIT2.
certainly desired for a steal. Again, a very crowded house for anyone watching on the stream, and that means that there's potential for strange swings. Right now, it looks like Harvard is potentially scoring, but if RIT hits a lucky shot, they could end up with a 3, which could be huge. So, tricky thing with a busy house is figuring out how it'll end in the final, and sometimes they're going to get another tick.
I think
This is
they
a
will.
second tick. Wow.
And that might.
That is a great shot. I don't know if they're calling for these ticks, but that is 2 in a row for Harvard that they've played off their own stone right towards the house.
Sometimes it's not about the shot you call, it's about the shot you make.
Exactly. And for anyone who wasn't here this morning, and we were having some audio issues, so I don't even know if this made it on stream, but I like to call those a happy little accident after Bob Ross, the famous PBS painter, because it certainly wasn't their desired or called for shot, but it was ended up being a great result. Actually, RIT's going for the same shot again. I think they're maybe calling the same line. It might be more narrow, but I think they really are trying to just hit this bump sideways. This is certainly difficult. We'll see what happens here. Again, they have kind of 2 shots they can hit. They have a stone in the 12-foot, which they can hit back at a diagonal, or they have their stone at the edge of the 4-foot, which they're trying to play sideways, or play off the red stone behind it. Both are valid options. Again, it's hard to see the house from above here to see all the angles, but they're calling for the same slower speed this time, which they might want to start sweeping this. It's going to curl if they're not careful. All right, this is coming down to the house, and it looks like it's actually going to hit that stone in the 12, like I was saying. And it actually hits it square. That's actually very concerning because that stone was preventing Harvard from having 2. Hard to see the house again from where we're calling, but Harvard has it beautiful. It looks like they're going to come for the same shot they've been calling, which is just a draw. I am interested to see the line because this stone has not
Harvard
curled.
is sitting 1 and 4 with RIT2 sitting 2 and 3. I pulled up the live stream for the overhead view.
That's perfect.
But it is still difficult to tell.
Yeah, I think if I'm Harvard, again, I might try to guard up the shot RIT's been calling for back-to-back times.
Actually, the stream is delayed, so Harvard is now sitting, because of that last shot
Yep.
by RIT, they are sitting,
They are sitting 2?
perhaps,
All right, we'll have to measure. So they're at least sitting 1, though.
for
Again,
sure 1.
Harvard has been throwing this same shot. I'm unsure. I don't know if I like the line call here. They have not got any curl out of this shot. They've actually got 2 very favorable ticks, which have helped them. But again, they weren't the called for shot. I think they need to be a little more narrow. They have elected not to guard the shot RIT's attempting, and it is a very, very difficult shot. So I see why they have decided to come in from the other side, try to get close and sit on their own stones so that there's no way for RIT to come in. And this is the stone here from the skip, whose name is Kat, if I recall correctly. She actually had a beautiful shot in the last end to get a point, stopped it right on the button, a beautiful draw. This is coming in as well, so they finally got the curl they wanted. This is actually going to hit their own guard.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Actually, I think they're okay with that. That really is cutting off the angle RIT wanted, and there's no way they can play their own stone now. So that might have, again, happy little accident here for Harvard. Not the shot they wanted, I don't believe, but it ended up as a very favorable
I
result.
think RIT almost definitely giving up 1 here.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think if I'm RIT, and I can't see the overhead, we have it on the side, but I might try to take out that stone at the edge of the 4-foot. If the yellow stone in the back is not counting. So if the yellow stone in the back of the 4-foot is not the counting first stone for RIT, just to try to only give up 1 in case they're giving up 2. But it's certainly a difficult shot, a very clogged house. There's not a lot of room to get around things. There's no stones they can really promote here. Their last shot, they actually ticked one of their own stones towards the center and bumped it out, and that might have potentially been given Harvard too. We might have to measure, but here comes the stone. It's a very wide line. It looks like, yeah, they're just going to burn this stone. They don't want to risk giving up any more. RIT's elected to just throw this stone away, and they have given up 1, it looks like, has been agreed upon, so it looks like they don't have to measure.
And you know, I really hate to say it, but on this live stream, it does not do Angelo justice.
The sweater.
Of course, the sweater.
It's got to be the sweater. Yeah, it's certainly it's
I
colorful
wish-
and it's not too colorful. It's very
I think
tasteful.
I petition Broomstones Curling Club to get some HD cameras just for examples like this, where I'm so fortunate to be here live and be able to observe this sweater, but for those who aren't, it's really just a shame that they aren't seeing it in full swing.
Yeah, and again, it's a very tasteful sweater. I think maybe we need to talk to the Harvard coach about getting team sweaters like that because those are very great, very colorful. They would look beautiful if they had 4 of those sweaters going today.
Oh wow, especially in some nice festive Bonspiels, that would be great.
Honestly, I think they can make every Bonspiel festive if they have
Yes.
those.
I think we might switch back to the A event final on sheet 2.
Just an update for everyone, the A event finals, Bowdoin 1 versus RPI 1. The current score is 6-1 RPI 1. They are in the 6th end.
And I just
Currently-
had a mini freak out because I'm a bad announcer who also has the Liverpool FC match against Manchester City up, and Liverpool has taken an early lead with a score of 1 with only 7 minutes in. And I'm freaking out, it's fine, but back to curling.
She's,
Apologies.
the sad part from that, we can't tell if she's a Liverpool fan or not. She's either freaking out because she's upset or freaking out because she's happy, but either way, it sounds like she's excited. But on the main event, RPI is sitting 2 here in the 6th end. This is the last stone from Bowdoin. They have 2 stones to stop on.
I will say I am a Liverpool fan, and I now need to see which of my glorious boys. Oh my goodness, it was Fabinho in the 6th minute. What a lad! I'm sure it was a banger. Oh, never mind, it might be taken away because of a handball. Anyway, sorry. Curling.
So again, this is a difficult decision, but Bowdoin elected for the last stone to again try a takeout. I'm not sure of the reasoning, but the takeout got their stone and rolled out. So RPI is going to steal 1 again here, and they're going to go up 7-1 through 6 ends. So RPI has been playing, I don't want to say conservative game, but they've been playing a very tight game. They've been hitting their shots or missing small, which is certainly important in curling. You don't want to miss big. You want to be generally close to what you want, and they've been hitting that and really forcing Bowdoin into some areas where they've made mistakes that have cost them.
And just not giving Bowdoin any chance of scoring any sort of big ends.
Yeah, agreed. It seems that Evan has really turned the defensive curling on, which is smart, especially when you have a big lead. He's been willing to throw takeouts. He will burn his own stones gladly. He will get them out of play, as we just saw. He was very fine having them throw that stone straight through the back of the house because he wants to leave no guards, no opportunities for Bowdoin anywhere.
Yeah. If a stone isn't doing you any good, color does not matter.
After 5.
All right, here we go. Bowdoin starting. This stone looks very slow. We'll see if they can get a guard. They really need guards at this point. They've got to find a way to get some protections up because RPI has been hitting the takeouts. Again, mostly newer curlers curling today who are in 4 years or under. And hitting takeouts is not extremely difficult, but it's harder when you're newer, and RPI has been doing a great job, and they have not shied away. I'm betting that he's going to just throw it through the house again here.
Yep.
She won finished 5 ends.
That is definitely what I would go
playing 6.
for.
Yeah.
Just a score update on all the sheets. Harvard 1 versus RIT 2, and sheet 1 is tied up at 3 each through 5 ends. They're in the 6th end. Sheet 3, which is Cornell Hamilton 1, has Cornell out to a large lead. It's 9-0 now through 4 ends. They're in the 5th end. Sheet 4, which is Yale versus Villanova. Again, another Ivy big lead. Yale is up over Nova 2, and that is 8-2 through 5 ends. They are also in the 6th end.
So, a lot of big scores up there, a lot of one-sided games it seems so far in our finals other than sheet 1, but on sheet 1 we have seen a lot of ends that are just almost waiting for a big score.
Yeah, it's been very close, and like you mentioned, there's been a lot of ends close to a big score that have just narrowly avoided it, whether that's stones that were, able to sit all together huddled on the button like we saw on the last end, or whether that was the beautiful draw shot hit by Kat from Harvard that was really got the 1 point from them on the hammer. There's been some ends that have left opportunities, but no big capitalizations or big errors that have resulted in large points. They've just been trading back 1 and 1.
Yeah.
And it so distracted by sheet 1. It's such an exciting game.
It is exciting.
It is
Bowden actually
likely
just
that-
threw out as well through the house, so we have
Yep.
the lead stone's gone and nothing in play on sheet 2. And again, Evan is just electing to continue to burn stones. He is not going to give Bowden anything, and if they throw a stone
Yep.
now, we are through 5 stones. There are no guards that he can't take out, and he's gonna just play takeouts for the rest of the
I
set.
would be very surprised if we potentially didn't see a shake after this end
Okay.
on
I'm just
probably
kinda like,
sheets 2, 3,
you know, there-
and
Yeah,
unless
again,
something dramatic happens, which it often does in college curling.
yeah, it could potentially. I think it definitely on 3 and 4. You know, Bowden might want to just play it out on sheet 2, but again, yeah, RPI's played a very tight game today. Very good takeout game, and big leads on 3 of the 4
And a
sheets.
great shot on sheet 1 by Angela. A nice takeoff, a little bit of a roll. Harvard sit 2 to RIT 2. Potentially looking for that big score that we've been looking for.
Yeah, not a lot of guards over there on sheet 1, so there is a lot of stones in the house again, and they are continuing to throw in the house. No one's throwing takeouts. We will see what happens. Minor freak out again on the soccer side, football side for my co-commentator. She's very excited. Her Liverpool team is now up 2-0 if you're into the football world. Sheet 2, RPI is electing. Evan is calling the takeouts, as we said. His team has been hitting them all day. He's confident in calling them. He's confident in the shots, and they are coming for this Bowden stone. They want nothing in the house. They want to just maintain or give up as little as possible. But this might drift. We'll see if he gets the tick. Here it comes. He's going to just get it. And optimally for him, his stone is out of play as
Yep.
well. He's giving nothing to Bowden.
High fives around RPI who know exactly what they are doing, and Mohamed Salah is a goal, and we should build many statues of him.
That last part is football commentary for those of you who do not follow European football, which is soccer for the Americans. Another great result. All right, Bowden here is throwing their stone. It looks like they're just trying to curl it down, but this looks pretty light. Again, Bowden started this first end of this match off playing wonderfully. I think they've been a little frustrated just because it's gotten away from them a little bit, but you know, they made it all the way to the A final. They started this final wonderfully. They've certainly played some great shots, and I want to emphasize they've only had a few minor mistakes. They've just been costly mistakes that they've made so far.
Unfortunately, a late sweep call by Harvard over on sheet 1, where we were looking for Angelo to tap back a Yellowstone a bit, but unable to do it. Just overcurls, not quite enough weight on it, but
Yeah, and RIT is actually calling for a double takeout right here. They
spicy.
are playing this. They do not have the hammer, and I will respect them. They have a lot of stones left, and they're going for it. This is a shot not a lot of teams will call because they have a stone tight in the house, and they're really going after this.
Meanwhile, RPI just misses the tick to take care of that Bowden 1 guard. A very tricky shot in curling, but
Wow.
very close. And oh,
What a beautiful
wow.
shot by RIT. That is gorgeous. They did not get the double takeout, but they got the takeout, and they are sitting on their own stone and Harvard. They are scoring 2, and this could be a problem. Harvard needs to get in there, and they need to get in there quickly with the amount of stones left. They have 4. They have a lot of time. But this is another packed house on sheet 1. They are playing a tight game.
I'll say it, if I'm in a jam, I do not mind seeing Jack Cordes behind rock.
All right, here we go. We're going to call this one in here as Harvard is coming in towards the house, and they are trying, it looks like with a little bit slower of a weight, maybe just get a little bump, but I think they're trying to sit on these stones. Here it comes right in. Wow, and they get the tap, but I think they're going to want to try to take out next because that stone has come off, but it's left them with a little bit of room. That's sheet 1. On sheet 2, Bowden has 2 guards in play, but nothing in the house, so they're going to keep throwing takeouts from RPI. And again, they're just playing conservative, keep the lead. And although they missed their last takeout, they're back on their takeout game as this is going to come right back and just get rid of this guard at the front of the house.
A little more on nose than Evan would have probably liked. Leaving a guard possibly for Bowden to use. And
Just
we
an
are
update.
switching to sheet 1.
All right, this is the sheet. Again, for everyone who's watching, if you haven't been watching or heard along, sheets 2, 3, and 4 are large leads right now for RPI on the main A final. In sheet 2, RPI is up large. Sheet 3, Cornell is up big on Hamilton. In sheet 4, Yale is up large on Nova. I do want to note after 5 ends, though, Hamilton is on the board now. It is 9-1. So they are on the board. They've avoided, a 0, and they keep playing here. They're in the 6th. But we are over to sheet 1, which is the only one that's very close. It is tied right now.
And
Harvard
as I
RIT.
said, looking for a big score, and right now RIT2 seems to be the one trying to put it up.
Yeah, they have 3 stones in the 4-foot right now, and Harvard does have
And
one
in a
biting.
position very tricky to take care of because Harvard's own stone is sort of acting as backing.
Yeah, they've got 3 stones left, including the one coming down right now. I think
A
they
nice
just have to go
heavy hit
takeouts.
from Jack Cordes.
This is coming in
Looking
from
for
the outside. We'll see
A
where
little
it
more
goes.
curl. Oh, and just
that's-
flashes by all 3. Very unfortunate.
That's very
for
difficult, actually, for
Harvard's
Harvard,
vice.
because if I'm RIT now, I think they get defensive. I would get some guards going.
now. Yesterday.
I'm favoring the guards. I don't think they should play aggressive, but they have sat 2 stones in a row. I think a high guard is helpful here because it's very hard to take out these stones without using multiple rocks, and Harvard only has 2 stones left. Their skip stones are all that remain in this end, and this is another potential big end. We'll see where it plays out. RIT Harvard is tied 3-3 through 5 ends. There are 3 stones counting right now for RIT, and Harvard does have a stone at the edge of the 4-foot, but RIT just has 3 beautiful stones in the 4-foot. Very difficult for them to play with. Here comes the first skip stone from the RIT skip. Does look like potentially they're calling for a guard. I didn't see the exact shot call they're going for, but they are coming from the outside. The weight does look a little lighter, so I think they're going to just try to get this over and guard up all these stones they have right now.
Yeah, scraper, you just run it over all 4 sheets.
This is going to be a little bit deeper of a guard, which is good. We're going to see if it moves over. It doesn't
Shot
look like
like
it's
this
going to.
line is much more important than
there
the
we
weight.
go.
And that is very
beautiful.
nice. I would not want to be in Harvard skip Catley's position right now.
So here's my question. If you were skipping for Harvard, now would you favor taking out the guard that just came in, or would you look at that Yellowstone in the 12-foot to potentially come in from an angle here?
I honestly do like the 12-foot a bit. It's tougher, of course, because it is on an angle, but
Yeah, it's a little wider out. It's certainly a tougher shot.
it's
But
definitely a scary house. Of course, as my dear friend Evan Mullaney told me while he was commentating last night, you don't miss any shots from the comment booth.
exactly, we are the perfect curlers up here. We are basically Team USA. We can
Yeah.
call what we want, and we of course would hit it. We don't miss our lines. We
Never.
don't push it, and
Nope.
we are never short or long.
Sweeping, amazing. John Schuster, give us a call.
Yeah, anytime. We are broom experts here. So Harvard's really thinking this one over. They actually look like they're going to call for a draw to the button, and this could be difficult.
This is
Again,
a high risk shot. I really hope that Kat knows her draw time. I really hope her sweepers know.
Yes.
I do not think Harvard is currently using any stopwatches. I know a lot of teams use that to sort of keep time of the ice. I know that MIT teams are very fond of them because who doesn't love data points?
exactly. And just a quick update as Harvard goes to throw this shot on sheet 2. RPI has taken out Bowdoin again, so there's nothing in the house there, and it's 7-1. That is the A final. RPI is winning. Here comes the shot from Cat and Harvard. This looks a little fast potentially. We've got to see this
Sweeping,
stone come
looking
in.
potentially narrow. It's really seeming like it's curling. They're just cleaning it.
Yeah, I
Keeping
think
an
they
eye
want
on
to slow.
it.
This looks like it might actually
And
sit.
you know,
Wow, what a shot by Kat from Harvard.
what a gal.
That is a perfect shot. Again, she was drawing for the button and she hit the button. What a shot with a smile to her coach in the announcer booth. Again, RIT
I will
has the
say that
chance
I
to
did
take
not
this out.
know. This is all Cat right here.
Yeah, again, the coach did not call that. It
I
was
have not
admittedly
helped
a
Cat learn to
high-risk
curl
shot.
at all.
All right, so RIT is electing for a takeout. I will say this is risky. They do have a bunch of stones counting. If they miss this line here, it's potentially very problematic. Harvard does have the hammer, so if this takeout misses, Harvard is, I think they'll burn the stone, to be honest. I don't think
Yep.
it's worth throwing, but we'll see. RIT's calling
But
a
she
takeout.
did just throw it, and theoretically she does have backing, though her own. But you know, you get an unfortunate angle on a tap, and bad things can happen.
Yeah, this takeout, again, if they hit this on the inside, that could potentially bump their own stone and create a very nice kind of baseball glove for catching the Harvard rock. Let's see where the line is. And actually, I think he just pushed that stone. That stone
Looks
got pushed.
pretty
Yeah.
wide.
That's
going
going to hit the guard
pretty
potentially.
fast.
Yeah, it was
I
just a release.
Don't even think it'll get it at a convenient angle for them.
See, wow, that actually rolled almost wonderfully.
And I do think Kat will probably go for the draw for 2 here.
I think I burned the stone. Again, I think she's going to try it. She did just do it. She has it. The reason I say burn the stone is, again, you don't want to have any sort of bad accidents where you could give up 1 or even 2 here to RIT.
But at the same time, with the hammer, you don't want to necessarily
Agreed. No, I
be
think
forced to 1, especially
Yes.
when you
agreed. I think
do
they'll
have
go
the
lighter,
opportunity.
and I think they're going to sweep it. I think that's the big thing. You know, we mentioned this earlier. You always want to be a little lighter in curling, just because you don't want to be long. You can't slow a stone down. Your sweepers can sweep. We've seen Harvard do some great sweeping today. And here comes Kat. This is the last stone of the 6th end, Harvard versus RIT. It's currently tied at 3. And this is their skip Kat, who threw a wonderful, beautiful draw on her last shot, and she is coming in again. She's calling for the sweep. I think she wants the line here, and it's coming in. We'll see. This would be absolutely
Sweeper's really
stunning.
going on it, but it looks like it is just
Yep.
gonna overcurl. Not
It's a
quite
little
enough on
light.
it,
I know. I started.
but you know, it was definitely worth the shot.
Yep, I
from
think she threw
Skip.
the same line, and I think she did what we said. She
Yep.
played it conservative.
Yep.
She would rather be short and try to just sneak one in.
Yep.
Score update on sheet 2, which is again the A final. RPI at Bowdoin, the 7th end went blank actually, so Bowdoin had the hammer. They must have left it short or long. We didn't see the shot just due to the Harvard RIT match, but
And-
7-1 going into the 8th end.
And at this point, in the 8th end, Bowdoin would need to score 6, so they are looking for every single rock to get in the house.
Yeah,
essentially.
they have 1 now. They're throwing their 2nd lead stone. It's going to be short, it looks like,
Yep.
potentially, which is, again, when you need 6, it's very difficult.
So already 1 stone out of play. I assume Evan will go automatically to the 1 Bowdoin stone in play, take it out, and then all they would need is to remove the 3rd rock from play, and RPI 1 would be the champions of the 2019 Broomstones College Bonspiel.
Yeah, and just a quick update on the other sheets as well, as we are starting on sheet 1, the 7th end, but the 4th sheet, Yale and Nova. Nova puts up a 2, and it is now 8-4 in the 7th end. So that one is maybe getting competitive here. We'll see how that goes. Nova started a little slow. They gave up a couple big ends, but they've put some points on the board. Sheet 3, Cornell Hamilton 1. That is still a 9-1 lead for Cornell. They are in the 6th end. They actually have 1 stone left after this stone that just got thrown finishes, but Cornell looks to be sitting. And I think we might see handshakes there soon because Cornell has the hammer. They're sitting, I believe, 3 actually looking at the house. Yeah, they're sitting 3 looking at the house. So if they throw this in for a 4, I think we might see potential handshakes. We'll see. So back to the sheet we're currently showing live. That is Harvard RIT. Harvard 1, RIT 2. This is a revenge match. Harvard eliminated RIT 1 this morning and are now facing RIT 2 in the final of their group. I'm not sure on the lettering. We can check on that, but it
This
is...
the B event.
Yes, B event. There we go. That's correct. I remember that from earlier now.
And I have actually from the comments an update from Broomstones curler Dawn Hebert, who is cheering on Evan Mullaney, and she reports that Team Hebert is in the A event final over at the Country Club, who is apparently holding a curling tournament this week. I can assume that she's referring to her son Ethan Hebert, who has recently qualified for the 2020 Youth Olympics in
And there we have
Switzerland.
it. That is a handshake on the main event. RPI 1 has defeated Bowdoin 1 for the win at the Broomstones Curling Club College Bonspiel. Again, a great match called by Evan, and that is just a fine game of takeouts that they threw, and very, very well done.
Dominant and skilled performance. And of course, great job to Bowdoin. Thank you for coming down from Maine to curl in our
Yeah,
wonderful
again-
Bonspiel. Always great to have you. Always a really great team to sit down and chat with, Bowden.
Yeah, again, I think you mentioned that Penn has been in the final the last few years
Yep.
against
they
RPI
won
1.
the final
Yeah.
and many times against Evan.
And Bowden has made it here. I think that's a huge props. Again, they played well early. RPI was just hitting their takeouts with force today. Very few misses on their part, and that made it very hard for Bowden. And a few small mistakes cost them, but that's our final. RPI 1 has finished the game strong. We also see that Sheet 3 has now finished. Cornell has beat Hamilton 1. Again, that has gone final. It's just Yale Villanova on Sheet 4 and Harvard 1, RIT 2 on Sheet 1, which we have live. Currently 4-3 Harvard 1. We have 2 stones in the house. We have RIT and Harvard in the 8-foot. I believe RIT is scoring hard to see. And then we have 2 center line guards as well.
So yeah, definitely a great day for Broomstones trained youth curlers, with Evan taking his first collegiate Bonspiel win here on his homegrown ice here at Broomstones, and Ethan Hebert over at the Country Club in the A event final. We can only send our best wishes out to him. But now I am sending, not to be completely biased, but my wishes to Harvard, but also RIT, a wonderful tech school.
Yeah, it's been a
Honestly,
very
some of the
competitive
funniest
match.
people I've ever met have come from RIT.
They are having a very competitive match, and we have, again, the Harvard coach here in the booth calling the game beside me. It's been very competitive. Again, low-scoring ends, but if you haven't seen the video, they have been very nerve-wracking ends. There have been some potential big ends. Again, we can't emphasize enough that the skip for Harvard, Cat, has put up 2 huge draws in the 4th and 6th ends to get 1 point for Harvard when they could have potentially given up 3 or more. Just been some beautiful draws thrown on the last stone by her, or the second to last stone, to
Really working
really
so
win.
well under pressure.
And I also want to shout out RIT sweeping there. They got that guard all the way back to the house on the edge of the 12-foot. That was a beautiful sweep on the tap there.
So Kat looking for,
She wants to promote it in behind the guards, I think. She's calling for a tap, it looks like.
might be nice to get a little bit of a tap closer for the stone, I believe potentially currently sitting a little further behind those guards, and maybe even the shooter behind the RIT Yellowstone.
It's hard to watch this stone come down and not comment on our favorite part of the event this morning. That sweater is absolutely outstanding. And we still, I don't believe, have a report on where that sweater's from. And actually, this might tap the guard. That's a little heavy, though. That's not what they wanted. Oh, but wow,
But kind of accomplishes what they wanted, because Angelo,
what a
ever
tap.
a man of mystery, I'd say, ever a man of ingenuity, creativity, and really leaves Harvard, I believe, sitting too, with both sitting rocks behind cover.
Yeah, I think so. And I would like to point out that, again, Harvard has called some good shots, but they have been hitting the happy little accidents. That, again, was not the shot they wanted, but they caught a very lucky break. They tapped the RIT stone out. And RIT, I think they need to get some takeouts going here, because there's a lot of stones in play, a lot of stones left, admittedly, but a lot of stones in play, and they're not scoring right now.
And definitely in college curling, it's not necessarily about seeing what is the call to make, it's seeing which call can be made that has a little bit of wiggle room.
Exactly. There needs to be an A and a B, maybe even a C shot.
Oh, there have been many tournaments won on D, E, and the G shots.
Exactly. And they actually, I think they're calling for a draw here around their guard. I think they're going to tap it again, though. Wow, they got
make
around.
it back.
This is, wow, what a shot by RIT. This is stunning. What a beautiful shot. Again, that's at the edge of the 12, but I wouldn't have thought that line existed there.
I certainly would not have. Almost potentially showing Harvard or RIT skips potentially some new paths that they might have not been considering before.
Yeah, I think.
But with that really high yellow guard, especially with how this ice has been curling, and especially so close to the center line.
I think Harvard's really trying to mull this over again. There are 8 stones in play, no stones out of play in this end. And that is difficult because RIT has the hammer and Harvard has a difficult choice.
Yeah.
Do they throw another guard here? Do they try to sneak something into the house?
It's hard to believe looking at this sheet that we still have half of the rocks to throw.
Yeah, I think if I'm Harvard here, I might call for a guard on the left side of this sheet. RIT has a stone out there that they can try to tick off of. Again, not an easy shot. There are no easy shots left in this end at this point. They need to guard some of these hard, difficult shots, or even consider guarding that center line that they just went through because they saw that they could hit it.
Of course, RIT2 with the hammer. And I will comment on this RIT2 team that these are a lot of faces that I don't think I'm super familiar with. So I think these are a lot of fresh curlers here.
Just
so
an update
really exciting to see
as they scout
them out
this
here
shot.
doing so well.
We have the fourth sheet again. Nova is trying to storm back, and they are sitting 2 in the house right now, and they do not have hammer, but this is a well-guarded house. Nova could potentially sneak a few points again away from Yale here. That match is getting very interesting.
Nova 2 being the team that famously wore all compression sleeves on the Friday night draws. However, only currently I think the Nova 2 Vice wearing his compression sleeve. Let's see if that'll help him
Wow,
out.
and that might promote. I'm not.
Just short.
Yeah, I think they'll throw a guard. But again, back to sheet 1. Harvard shot coming in. It looks like they're coming out from the outside. Difficult to see if they wanted a draw here. It doesn't look like this stone's going to curl. It looks like they might actually end up putting up that guard I was talking about. We'll see if they can stop this stone. I think that's actually beautiful.
Yeah.
That really gets rid of that potential tick we talked about where they can tip off the stone at the edge of the 12-foot back towards the house.
RIT looking to do an angled raise on their own stone sitting at the edge of the 8-foot white circle.
That's a difficult shot. That outside ice has been very tricky on all of the sheets today.
And it looks like they are accounting for it to be pretty straight here.
Yeah, I think I like this tighter because if they get rid of that red guard, if they get rid of it, I think that only helps them. And so I think if they play it very tight, worst case scenario, they move that guard out of the way and give themselves some more ice.
And with so many rocks in play, really, if they are able to just sink in, either team sink a rock in onto the button, it is going to be tricky to take care of. I think Harvard would be a little better set up to take care of it, but...
All right, here comes that stone, and this actually...
Oh, looks like
I actually don't know if I
late
would sweep that.
call. I think it was a late sweep call.
I actually think they needed to try to just let it fall.
Do a hit and roll?
Yeah, I think they just once they realized that they were inside the stone, they needed to just hope they got inside of it. Again, they did sweep late. Unlikely the sweeping moved that stone much, but yeah, a difficult shot. Like we said, the ice out there just sometimes it doesn't move. It's not played a lot during these ends, and that stone really didn't curl for them, which they wanted. It looks like Harvard's going to guard this up actually, or sit on these, but they really want to protect against that shot again because it looks like Harvard's sitting 2. At least they're sitting 1. They're fine with stealing 1 here and taking a lead, but let's see what happens. This is a very slow stone coming out of their hand, so it looks like they want the guard. Yep, and they're on the stone. They're just trying to sneak this over the line. The skip's coming up as well. Here comes Kat. They just want to get it over, but it's just short.
But unfortunately...
All right, so now is the question for RIT. This is their Vice's stones. They've got a few left.
And I really think this is the shot they need to be calling.
Yeah, I think it's they have this, or they need to focus on a multi-shot takeout strategy of getting the front of the house cleaned up a little.
Theoretically, I think you could raise. There's a very high RIT guard.
Yeah, that's another opportunity that they could either use that. The other thing I don't mind, again, this is a very crowded house, very tricky shots. They could try to tick off that red guard and promote their own.
For those on the live stream, I don't think it's showing, but there is a very high RIT guard right on the center line, right at the far hog line.
Yeah, and that's actually there because they actually hit a guard and that stone stayed because it was actually That's the one that pushed their stone over on the 12-foot. But
So if
this
you're
is the
watching
same
and
shot.
asking why they aren't doing this simple shot or that simple shot, well,
There are no simple
it ain't
shots.
so simple.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
And they're actually coming. This actually looks to be a great line. This is the shot they wanted. This is going to be the outside touch. This is going to sneak that stone in. Wow, that is a
And
great shot
wow.
by RIT.
That's
What a beautiful
exactly
shot.
what they needed, and now
I think Harvard's going to have to try that tap promote on the left side, but that is a shot by RIT. Again, they just called that same line. They made the adjustment. They gave a little bit more ice there, and that was a beautiful, beautiful shot by RIT.
some amazing shots being played.
Yeah, this sheet one has been hyper competitive. Again, I want to emphasize that these guys have been playing very closely. A lot of stones in play. This is the Skips Rocks run now. There's only one stone that's been taken out of play so far.
Harvard almost all second-year curlers, other than Kat, who does have a good number of years in experience, but one skip does not make a team.
Yeah, they're scouting out because I think they've realized the same thing that we have, and that is that there's not a lot of options here, and they have some difficult options. They're looking at a promotion here from very high up. This would be a difficult
If I was
shot.
Harvard, I would not be worried about potentially doubling out that Yellowstone along with their own Red Rock, because
Yeah, I like this angle, honestly. I think even if they miss this shot a little bit, that they are getting rid of a guard that is hurting them right now and gives them an opportunity to curl in. Evan has stepped up to the booth now. Again, congratulations to him. He has won his first Broomstones College Bonspiel
any
playing
words
at
of
home.
wisdom, any remarks for the fans?
Not really. It's just my team played amazing today, and we just, did our thing, and it was enough.
Yeah, we
go.
called it from the booth. Great takeouts from RPI 1 in that final on sheet 2. They were hitting their takeouts all day. Again, some of the rolls I don't think were what Evan wanted, you could tell, but he was very happy with the takeouts being spot on. They were not missing, and they did not give Bowdoin any opportunities once they got that lead.
Harvard taking their time, and honestly,
I think they're trying to come in. That's very risky. Again, that guard
like
needs to
they
go.
might even be saying that they wouldn't super mind giving up one, forcing RIT 2-1, and then going into the final end with the hammer. But
Yeah, I
they
think
are
that's
going
not bad
to need
either.
to make a decision here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think if that's what they're thinking about, then I would leave the guard. If they want to just say we'll play one.
Yep.
I think there's really no promotions out here that's available. It's very difficult. If they want to play aggressive, like I mentioned, they have the double promote there. That's certainly an option if they want to try that little run back. But yeah, playing conservative here is certainly fine. Over on sheet 4, it looks like they've just finished the 7th end. I actually can't tell who's scored. There's a lot of conversation going on. I think that Villanova has, yes, they have. It's just been hung up. They stole a point, and this is a tight match going into the 8th end. Villanova's down 3, but we have to emphasize they were down 8-1, or actually, excuse me, they were down 4-0, and then they were down 8-1, or 8-2. They have brought it back to 8-5, and what resiliency by Villanova. But I think they've shaken hands.
They have shaken, yep.
They've shaken hands. That's the final. Congratulations to Yale. Again, 3 of the matches are done here in our final rounds. That is RPI 1 winning the A final, Cornell winning on sheet 3, Yale winning on sheet 4, and Harvard coming in now. And that looks like Kat got her shot. She slid in beautifully to sit there, and she's giving the 1, I think.
That's what she wanted. I definitely think she wanted.
Did she want to roll?
That. I think she wanted that guard higher to block sort of the path potentially for RIT to draw another one in, and I think RIT is actually looking to use that rock that Kat just threw to sort of hit and roll in to score 2.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that'll be hard. We saw this earlier, and they hit it very square. I think that's the risk here, obviously. They don't want to do what they did before.
About 2 feet deep maybe for Harvard, and let's see if RIT can capitalize on that mistake.
Yeah, this is their 3rd shot in a row on this side of the ice. They should be familiar with the curl, with the speed. Again, this is the same shot they just threw, but they want it a little more narrow because they want to be on the inside of the stone. They want to roll towards the button or the center of the circles because they want to get 2 and try to get a lead because there's only one end remaining, and they would be giving Harvard the hammer. Again, every end has been a 1 except for the first when Harvard got 2. It's been a trading back and forth, and the stone is away. Let's see what RIT gets here. This looks narrow, though, and this actually might hit that Harvard guard.
Yale is dancing on sheet
This
4
could be a
celebrating,
promotion. This
but
is actually
also, oh
very
God.
big for Harvard. This might move in.
Oh,
It looks like
but
it just
at
barely was
the
light.
angle. But that now leaves
I think
a
I'd go for that
shot
promotion.
for Harvard, yeah.
Yeah, I think they throw a control weight takeout potentially on their own stone here. That's the stone at the edge of the 12. They're only giving one. They would have hammer. There's no way they can give two. They can throw whatever they want here, whatever they think might steal them a point.
I just got away from Angelo, and I'm just feeling like the prettiest girl in the ball right now, I'll say it.
I would like to add, underappreciated about Angela's look today. The sweater is great, but the hair has actually been pretty spectacular today as well.
Angelo's overall look, always just delightful. I enjoy it. His glasses shape for his face really just suit him well.
Can't see the glasses from up here, but I'll trust the coach on that one. Definitely, Angelo, they're the two teams remaining on the ice, but even with everyone out here earlier, the best dressed, as we've said today, he has a stunning sweater on. We would maybe change to navy or crimson pants, but even then, he has a great look, great hair. He is really rocking the Harvard team and representing them in style.
Of course, this is not to, this is just a celebration of Angelo's great skills. All of our curlers out here looking fine.
Yeah, we've seen some great uniforms again. We really liked the Bowdoin, very intimidating dark colors with the white contrast, very nice. The Harvard classic crimson and white was very nice as well.
The RPI pant game, killing
Yes,
it.
RPI pant game. We do want to say that 3 of the 4 members, the skip was not as loud with his pants, Evan.
But he
Sorry.
let the curling do the talking.
Yeah, I would like to say, can we maybe get some RPI synchronized flamingos in the zebra pants? Because those are, I want to maybe find some of those to start curling in, because those are absolutely gorgeous.
Loudmouth, we will gladly accept any sponsor.
Any endorsements, gladly welcome.
Yeah, and while we're talking about fashion, the reason why is Harvard and RIT in a very big nail biter, and Harvard is debating. This is the last stone of the end. Harvard is trying to figure out what they want to do with their last stone. Do they want to potentially throw a guard? Do they want to try to get rid of the yellow RIT stone? RIT does have the hammer here. They will have one more
But
shot.
if it's possible for Harvard to get one, they definitely want to take it.
Yeah, I think they would. I think obviously anything that involves getting one is going to be a promotion. There are a lot of guards. There's, including potential biters, there looks to be about 7 guards in play in front of the house. There's a lot of stones that are preventing just a draw or any sort of promote, because the guards have guards as well, and certainly difficult. It looks like Kat, who has been hitting phenomenal shots today. For those of you who've been watching, we've been showing sheet 1 a decent amount. She has hit some stunning draws. She's hit some great shots for Harvard to keep them in and stop big ends from happening. She is lining up what looks like a double to promote their own stone here, potentially.
Evan, what do you think about this?
I certainly think this is the hardest of all the options. If you actually look on
The
the
overhead.
right-hand side of the sheet as we're looking at it, that red stone that's just about at, I'd say the 11 o'clock position at the top of the house is actually framed perfectly between the yellow guards. And if you hit that straight back and stick it, that raised rock will
Yep.
actually double out those 2 yellows, and Harvard will sit 4 buried.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was something we first called out when they were lining this up, is going after that red guard. I'm not sure why Kat selected not to. Maybe she's thinking more defensive, but agreed that there is definitely a good opportunity to hit their own stone straight
Because
back.
with the yellow stones behind, I think it is important to say that RIT does have hammer.
Yes.
But with those RIT stones behind, they are at risk of being taken advantage of.
And I think you have to go for this regardless, because Harvard is sitting 2nd and 3rd, it looks like. So even if you just come down and whiff it, worst case scenario, you're going to be up 1 with
Yep.
the hammer in the last end.
Yep.
I think for sure this is the harder of the 2 taps. But that's Harvard for you.
Making things harder than they need to be? No. An Ivy school? No. Here comes Kat.
And here comes the shot. Again, they're going for that double, and that side of the ice has been a little wide, but we'll see if she can curl in. She did get a good curl last time she threw a shot, and this does
look
look like
very
she might
close.
have it.
And
Let's see. Oh, it might be a little
And
hard.
that's unfortunate.
Just a little heavy, but wow, what a line. Again, a very difficult shot. She had it, but she just had a little too much power. What I do think is this leaves RIT with a difficult try, obviously, to get to where there's not a lot of options here. Again, they've basically got to get to the edge of the forefoot here to get a second point. There are so many guards and stones on the outside. I think they're going to try the same shot where they roll in off that stone, but again, I don't think they have any ice here to get this. That yellow guard really limiting them here. I wonder if they consider that as a play, as maybe tapping that yellow guard
the skip
back.
just did a bit of a Hail Mary. And you know, looking for any support you can here in the B event final, especially when the house looks like this.
This is where I would like to call, or put what I would like to call the Cape Cod. You just chuck one real hard down the middle and hope something good happens.
Yeah, again, there's nothing really here.
Wow.
The shot I'm thinking that I would consider if I was me was that yellow guard tapping it back towards the red stone, but even that is, again, it's a miracle play.
We are getting in the comments that RIT2 Skip and Vice have 1 year experience, so I believe this is their second year curling, while their front end have both started curling this season. So the fact that they are playing at this level and like this in a B event final is, I'll say it, insane.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Again, this stone looks like it's going to have too much ice here.
And
but
these teams played this morning, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
This is the team that
This is a
both of these
revenge
teams
match.
have been playing for well into 4 hours at this point.
Yeah, and worth noting again, this is a revenge match. Harvard 1 eliminated RIT 1 this morning. RIT beat Oklahoma to advance to the B event final. And it looks like we're going to be all squared up going into the last end here.
And definitely one would. Oh no.
Don't switch it.
But yes, Harvard does have a hammer.
To go.
I don't know what the question was exactly. We're getting some signals from a cat asking what happens, but as in a tie, you always play out the extra end. But yeah, just amazing. The Harvard 1 skip, Cat Loop, the only curler in this game with more than 2 years of curling experience. And if I was still in the college curling circuit, I would be very scared of RIT in the future, seeing that this is how they are performing with only a couple of years under their belt. RIT, of course, hosting their home Bonspiel next week. That should be pretty fun. Quite a long drive from us here in Boston, but will definitely be worth it. I really enjoy the RIT facility.
Hey, Kelsey,
Hey Evan.
can I plug the RPI Bonspiel too?
Of course, I think I did a little bit earlier, but please be my guest.
So the RPI curling, RPI's home Bonspiel is going to be the weekend of the 7th, 8th, and 9th. At the Schenectady Curling Club. The registration is live now on the College Curling Facebook page, and will close on Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. And will that be your last Bonspiel?
Yep, that will be my final Bonspiel as a college curling player.
You need commentary?
Why not?
Great. Can I have a T-shirt?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
T-shirt.
Heck yeah.
I want those pants we discussed.
Oh, I almost
Flamingo zebra.
exclusively sleep in T-shirts I've gotten from the RPI Bonspiels.
I would also like to again push the Harvard coach here that we need these sweaters as a team uniform here. They are stunning.
When I asked Angelo who he was wearing, while he was playing on the ice, but you know, still replying to messages, thank God, he did ask who.
Yeah.
Like, confused it for me to ask who he is wearing.
All right, we are all tied up. We are throwing the early stones. This is the final end of Harvard 1, RIT 2. And I would like to I would like to say that, as we saw on some of the other sheets, or on the main sheet on sheet 2, not a lot of guard play. We are seeing guards here early, and this could lead to another interesting sheet. There are 3 stones and 3 guards up right now, and that could be trouble. I think we might want to get rid of some of these once we get past 5 stones, but we'll see what happens. Harvard might try to draw in here. Decently fast play as RIT stone just barely stopped, and Harvard's already throwing their last lead stone here. This is a little bit faster. I think this is going to be out the back of the house unless they tick, but it looks like this is just going to sail through. All right, so this will be the 5th stone, and after this stone, the 5 guard rule will be passed, and Harvard or RIT can start looking to move around some of these guards, but we'll see what RIT does with their 3rd stone here. I think they might try to draw, as again, there's 3 guards on one side of the sheet, and that is favorable to RIT. Again, Harvard has the hammer, so guards leave opportunities for the other team to potentially steal as they cover stones and protect them. But this stone's a little offline. RIT wanted to draw. It's drifting out a little, but we'll see how the weight looks and we'll see if it stops. It looks like it's going to sneak in the house here, potentially.
And I don't think I have yet mentioned the lineup here at RIT2. Their roster includes Joe Urbano, who I believe is skipping, along with Spencer Vang, Emmanuel Capatera, and Leah McKnight.
And again, RIT has some very junior curlers here, and they've been playing a great game for their members and how long they've been curling. Seems like everyone's 2 years or less, which is phenomenal. And there are now 4 guards in play. This could be a very interesting final end as more guards meets more
You
crazy.
might want to sweep it, but actually,
I think Harvard's burning
not,
stones,
Harvard does not want a center guard. In fact, I think they might start to just clear up the front of this house because Cat would like nothing more than a nice, easy draw to the house for her hammer as we approach the end of the event final.
Yeah, and if I'm RIT here, seeing how Kat's thrown today, she's thrown some beautiful shots. She has been on her lines. Her speeds have been pretty consistent, pretty good. I think I just throw some more guards, get this place clogged up, maybe a high guard in the center. Just try to keep Harvard away from clearing out the front of this house. They want to force them out to the outer edge of the ice. Again, it's less consistent. It's harder to hit a shot, especially a draw out there. But here comes the RIT shot. This one's a little faster. It might tick their guard here, though. Let's see what happens.
And you know,
Oh, and it
it's looking,
sneaks by, but it might be a little heavy.
and I think that will benefit
What a shot
Harvard
there.
because it now gives them something to stick to as they fight to be the closest final row.
Yeah, if I'm Harvard, I'm not too worried about that. Again, that stone
I
that was
really am
just
not.
thrown back of the 8-foot, but I would be worried about the guards in front of it. Again, not for that
Yes.
stone, but they need to get those center guards out of the way.
Yep.
If the center of the house is free, it gives them a lot more control.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Evan's not here now, but this is the way RPI played earlier on the main sheet on sheet 2 for the final. They were just not willing to give Bowden any shots, and that's what Harvard needs to do. They need to get rid of some guards here. They've elected to draw, and I think they've come right into the same spot, but we'll see. I think they might want to let that curl.
Yep, want to let it curl, coming along.
All right, that stone is
But
at the edge of
we'll
the
be
4-foot.
sitting.
Great shot by Harvard. Again, they elected to draw. This looks like they're going to keep playing how this game is played out. And for
Yeah.
those of you who haven't seen much of Sheet 1, because we were featuring Sheet 2 predominantly, because it was the final, there have been a lot of big opportunities to score in Sheet 1, but no capitalizing. Every end has been 1 point for each team, except for the first, where Harvard got 2, and we're all square. Takeouts are not happening. They're throwing draws, and this is, again, I think, favoring RIT if these guards stay up, and they're coming in again for another draw
And
shot.
RIT just trying to follow on in, probably sit on Harvard's last rock.
Let's see what
And
this
I
stone
will
does.
say, I believe that this has been a very well skipped game for Joe.
Yeah, this is great for the. Again, it looks confusing because Harvard is scoring, but all these guards are chances for runbacks. It's really preventing Harvard from. Harvard, it gets the last stone, so if there's not a lot of opportunity for them to get in the house, it's very favorable. And it looks like
Yep.
Kat's coming in. She wants the promotion or a takeout here. She's finally trying to get some stone moving around.
Yep, because that stone coming up a guard actually currently might even benefit Harvard as they build a wall sort of around. But there's a lot of stones currently for RIT2 to promote, and Harvard trying to promote the single stone they have to utilize.
Yeah, let's see this come down in. It looks like it's starting to move.
Like
I
you
think
might
they
wanna
might
sweep.
want to sweep. Yeah, it's starting to curl over. We've seen a lot of late movement today, and the stones have been coming over considerably, about 4 foot before the hog line, and this looks like it's going to be just a light tap, and that's a biter for sure. Harvard now sitting 2. Again, the front of the house is clogged, although they're sitting 2. And here it comes. RIT calling for the promotion. And again, mentioned earlier, this is college curling. Again, a lot of younger members, especially in RIT. So you want to give yourself a shot that gives you multiple options if you miss. And RIT has 2 stones they can promote here, and looks like they're going to start with the center one.
I think on this, I might try coming from the outside and sort of expecting an overcurl, but also it really involves knowing who is throwing. If they have an issue being wide, if they have an issue being narrow potentially.
Yeah, and again, this was a shot we talked about earlier, the reverse handle. That's when you start from the center line and curl out. But I'm not sure on the weight they were looking for, because that did not look heavy, and also it looked like there was really no handle given to the stone, which can cause it to drift sometimes if you kind of just let it go without giving it any spin at all.
And just that stone coming off the center line will curl a lot faster than it trying to work its way up to the center line.
And another guard in play here. Again, not in the house. Harvard is sitting 2. They are favorable. But if I'm RIT, I'm not that disappointed right now, because they just need one shot to get them their point to steal. And right now they're creating a lot of confusion and mess around the house, and that can be problematic. Again, it requires a difficult or lucky shot, but when you don't have hammer, that's what you need sometimes to steal.
I think
It looks like Kat is either going to get rid of some guards here potentially, or is she going to draw?
I think she just took a look at trying to take away those promotes for RIT.
Yep.
Especially on this outside sheet here, there's a tendency for the stones to fall to the wall. So trying to draw in from Kat's left side might be a little tricky, because ideally it would be nice to be able to sneak a red stone in behind those 2 higher yellow ones.
Yeah, it looks like she's actually calling for a high center line guard. Again, at this point, she's saying there's enough guards here. I'm not going to be able to get rid of them all. I won't be able to free up the center. Let's stop the promotions from potentially happening.
Essentially trying to see what RIT might want to do next and trying to prevent it.
This stone looks like it's the right weight. Let's see again. These stones are moving late. It should start to move soon if it's going to move, and it might drift over the center line, which they do not want.
And you really do not want this to overcurl.
Good sweeping there. It did overcurl, though.
But
It
yet,
protects their own, but that's not what you wanted.
Helping out Harvard. Jack, clearly not a giant fan of that shot, but he comes back to join his skip, Cat.
Yeah, I think, again, if I'm RIT, I'd try that promote shot here. They have 2 stones. I just think they might need a little more weight. They do have that backstop. I think that, again, from where we're commentating, we're on the 2nd floor here, so it's a little hard to see the back of the house, but there's a Harvard stone, the back of the 4-foot, that if they play it a little more forceful, they can get on that stone and potentially use that to stop the promote. So I think they need a little more weight, and they need a little bit of handle coming off the person throwing to keep the stone a little more narrow. But I think they're going to come with the other handle this time, potentially. They are, yes, they're going to try the promote again here at the top of the house. They're coming in from the other angle, though they didn't like the reverse handle that they just had.
Again, this game features curlers that curled in the early draw here, which started at 7:45 a.m. So curlers had maybe about 15 minutes off the ice to shovel some breakfast into them, and then went immediately back onto the ice. So definitely probably some tired sweepers and some exhausted skips from doing the chess on ice, as curling is sometimes referred to. Definitely takes a lot out of you mentally, which...
Even physically, let's remember, we've got some people here sweeping, and these are, oh, what a shot. Let's see if it hits the run back. Wow, RIT,
Wow.
that is beautiful.
Wow.
Again, these are any level of curling, that's a great shot, but these are young, 2 years and under curlers. What a gorgeous shot they just hit there. And this is what we were talking about for Harvard earlier. Now there's a problem. There's a lot of guards. I think they need to get rid of some of these guards, to be honest. They have 2 stones left. I think I try to take out that yellow guard just outside the 12 foot so they can come in from the left side. They really need to, or the center guard, also an option. They need to free up space. Again, with curling, sometimes you need to use a stone to create an opportunity for your next stone, similar to chess, where it's not a sacrifice, but you need to set up a shot. And right now, Harvard does not have a lot. It's not doom and gloom, but they need to free up more room to give themselves a better opportunity. All right, here comes Kat with her first stone again. Harvard has the hammer, so they have 2 stones left. RIT only has 1. This is coming in on the outside. It looks like she is going for that guard on the outside of the 12 foot. We'll see what happens with the stone if she can hit it. I think this is going to tap. Either way, she just wants it out of that area.
And
That's difficult. That is very difficult.
a little bit of an eek.
But it gives them more ice, but yes, very difficult. Again, there's 2 stones left here, 1 for each skip. RIT is currently sitting 2. They have 1 right on the button, 1
really,
just biting the 4 foot.
All Harvard really would have loved is that stone to just sit even a foot deeper so they could even potentially have a pocket that they could try to raise a redstone into or sit a redstone on, because they do have hammer, but
Yeah, just a difficult bounce again. If they hit it a foot deeper, like you said, if it tapped it more on the outside and it got the stone to cut sideways more, they would also be fine with that. That's kind of just the one place that's problematic. If I'm RIT here, I think you just guard that left side of the house where Harvard just came in from, and you really stop them from trying to promote or tick off their stone to come at the house. But RIT potentially looking to steal here in the last end and take this from Harvard, but we'll see what happens with the last 2 stones. The RIT skip is in the hack and throwing his last stone of the match. This looks to be a little fast. They actually might be trying to take out that stone from promotion, potentially. Not sure what exactly they're going
high
for.
risk shot, certainly, because I don't know if you'd want to take it out or rather guard the
Slowing
promotion,
down.
but-
Let's see what happens. That's going to be outside, so not sure if they were trying to burn a stone or not. I think they were trying to maybe do something with that red stone. This is now
I
the
think
difficult
Harvard
shot.
knows their shot.
Now the question here is, do you think they can curl this around, draw it in, and sit on this stone, or do you think they need to tick off that red stone they just placed?
I mean, Kat did just throw sort of almost the same shot.
I think it's at the back of the button from
If
our
she
angle.
did.
I don't think she needs a lot of force. I think she can draw this and get the point.
She has been great with her draw so far today.
She just needs to move that yellow stone 4 to 6 inches, a light tap, and that's off the button, and she would
it's
score.
also not completely what she feels comfortable with in terms of drawing versus hitting. It's also, what is her vice comfortable with? Is he
Yep.
comfortable calling such a shot that has to move a rock quite a far bit from an angle? This is not a straightforward hit on the nose run back.
Yeah, definitely not. I would like to say that, as we've said earlier, this has been a nail-biter between Harvard 1 and RIT 2. Both teams playing their second match of the day. Certainly everyone from the sweepers to the skips to the vices is tired, up early, 2 matches, lots of hours of curling, and it comes down to this last stone, A lot of those things play factors in release and pushing out of the hack. What lines you want to call, what you're comfortable with. We've seen Kat hit some amazing shots today on these draws, not necessarily to run something back, but just in terms of stuff where she's needed to hit the button, and she has. We saw that earlier in the 6th end. We saw something similar in the 4th end. We'll see if she can do it for the 3rd straight, time that they've had the hammer. If she can draw this on the button, she might just eke them out a victory.
The last stone here at the 2019 Broomstones College Bonspiel, and I can't think of a better team to be making it than one of its home teams, Harvard 1.
Yeah, and it does look like they're going for the draw with the line the vice is given. They're definitely not running a tick here or trying to bump in. Again, I think they've got the room. It looks like this stone is directly behind that centerline guard, but I think they can get around it just narrowly. So let's see what happens here as the stone's coming in from Cat. They might need to sweep for
Early
line here.
on.
Yeah, this stone might be narrow. They've
It
got to
does
get after it.
not hurt if it is heavy. Jack
They've
really
just gotta
calling
clear
them
that
to do
guard.
hard, but again, oh no!
Wow. Again, I would like to say this is a great, great match between Harvard 1 and RIT.
And that is
And
the
that
game
is that, yeah.
and their handshakes.
RIT 2, again, with a big steal in the last end here, and what a match between these two teams. Again, shout out to both of them. This is their second match today. They both were in for the early draw, and then they had a very small break. RIT 2, some very young curlers, 2 years and less basically across the board. Harvard, again, also some new curlers. What a
Smiles
match.
all around. Lots of hugging, lots of camaraderie.
Yeah, I think this was obviously, you know, I'm not as
From a
familiar with the
weekend of
teams, but
great curling.
some great college teams here. Obviously, they made it to the finals for both of them. Harvard played great. They hit some amazing shots again. Their skip Cat was just absolutely throwing some beautiful stones throughout the day. There just ended up being a lot of guards in that last end, and it just was very difficult. Some great shots by both teams, and congratulations to both of them. RIT 2, the last of our morning match, or last of our final matches here to wrap up. So across the board, it was RIT 2 taking down Harvard 1. Cornell taking down Hamilton 1, Yale taking down Villanova 2, and in the A final, RPI 1 taking down Bowdoin 1, RPI 1 winning the Broomstones College Bonspiel. Congratulations to Evan, who was up here earlier, his first win in his last college Bonspiel at Broomstones. So great job to all the teams, and a great weekend of curling.
So, from Broomstones Curling Club, this has been Kelsey Becker, and
Will Manning.
signing off. See you next year.